Hi, everybody. A very special night here at Marlins Park. It is the 13th annual Fox Sports Florida Fantasy Auction powered by South Florida Ford. Glad that you're with us tonight. Hope that you're very involved in the bidding. And oh yeah, there's a baseball game too. The Nationals and the Marlins kickstart a 4-game set tonight, but there will be a lot of action around the ballpark. Billy the Marlins fired up. Craig Minervini's fired up. And we hope that you are too. Inside the broadcast booth, Paul Severino and Todd Hollingsworth. Again, Nationals and Marlins first of 4, but the overriding theme tonight is the fantasy auction. What are you looking forward to?
Well, I'm looking forward to the event that I'm part of. I mean, that's certainly the package, and it includes golf. Last year was a little bit of batting practice, and oh, by the way, I came through on that. We got a couple of long balls out of the yard. This year, we're talking top golf. We're talking a VIP experience at the Honda Classic. Golf outing with me for 3, and oh, by the way, another golf outing at Deering Bay Yacht and Country Club. So lots and lots of golf. Listen, we know these two sports are married. You talk to any baseball player, he tells you, what's your other favorite sport? Everybody tells you the same thing. It's golf. So there you go. Great golf package.
Well, let's just say golf isn't your favorite sport. Let's just say maybe it's hockey, or it's basketball, or it's football. Then the ultimate entertainment package is for you, because that's just about every other sport known to man. 4 tickets for a Marlins game, 2 to a Heat game, 4 Panthers, 2 Dolphins, 2 tickets to Real Madrid against Manchester United, and 4 tickets to Monster Jam. So that's the ultimate entertainment package. All of these are available for bid at marlins.com/fantasy. So again, we'll be in and out of all of the bidding and the different options throughout the night. But let's focus on the baseball at hand. Dan Straley has been superb. His last 5 starts pitching to a sub-3 ERA.
Yeah, all quality starts. He's been in a great role. He's using those secondary pitches well. The fastball has been fantastic. And oh, by the way, he's been sneaking in a sneaker here and the sinker here. They're not a sneaker, a sinker. That's where I'm going with that.
He's the sneaker.
Yeah, that's right. Well, Straley's been getting it done, and he's got, listen, a 3.86 career ERA against the Nationals. And oh, by the way, this is turning into a game that I feel like the Marlins might win tonight, or should win tonight. There's no Strasburg.
There is no Strasburg. We were all geared up for him to start the opener tonight. Instead, a pinched nerve has sent him back to the disabled list after 1 start off, so it's Tommy Milone.
And Tommy Malone's done a very nice job at AAA this year. Listen, this is a guy who's a bit of a journeyman throughout his career. He's got decent numbers at the major league level, but this is somebody who's coming in and making a spot start, throws 88, 89 miles an hour, has a real good changeup, but again, I feel like a good matchup for the Marlins.
Yeah, he's bounced around in his career, but originally a Nationals draft pick about a decade ago. The fantasy auction is, again, a huge night here around Marlins Park, around Fox Sports Florida, and around the Marlins itself. Everybody's involved. Much more on that when we come back. For more, we check in with Craig Minervini.
Well, thank you very much, Paul, and it's good to be back with you for the 13th annual awards. And this year it's a little bit different. You bid online. Marlins.com/fantasy has all the information. We've got 16 exciting packages this year. They're all coming up at the start of the show, and you can bid on them till 10 o'clock. No small board this year. These are big packages, top to bottom, the Punta Cana getaway. We'll show you a couple of displays we have here. The 25th anniversary. This one includes, among other things, autographed jerseys from Charlie Huff and Luis Castillo, Edgar Renteria. You'll get a Jack McKeon autographed bobblehead, Jeff Conine autographed bat, among others, part of the 25th anniversary package. What about this one? Just getting started. Now this is kind of neat. This is a kind of a down the memory lane of all the Marlins minor league affiliates, from the New Orleans Baby Cakes, that great logo, to the Batavia Muck Dogs and everything in between. It's a package of bobbleheads, baseballs, jerseys, you name it. And there's a Marlin fan here that's already going to bid big on it. So if you like that one, get in on it. This one right off the top, one of the real attractive ones, and that is a trip to Punta Cana in the Dominican Republic. 8 days, 7 nights, exclusive, inclusive package, all inclusive. Round trip on Latin Airlines. You'll get autographed baseballs from several Marlins, as you can see. 2 clubhouse box tickets for a Marlins game. We got a couple of those items out here for you, but this is a great trip. And I haven't been there yet, but I hear it is a spot you don't want to miss. And one last one I want to tell you about now before we run along, and that's the Hall of Fame package. This is always a great one. Jeff Idelson, who runs the Hall of Fame, gives you a VIP tour. You can't get this if you walked in the door. You'll go behind the scenes. You'll go downstairs where the archives are that only really major league players can have access to, like Ichiro. You can actually pick up a bat that Babe Ruth used, or even throw on a glove that Stan Musial had on. That's all part of our Hall of Fame package. So we've got them all going on, and Marlins.com/fantasy is the way to do it. And we'll be updating you throughout the ball game. But we got a good one going on. It is the Nationals and the Marlins, and game number 1 of this 4-game series. Paul and Holly will have the call of that coming at you next on Fantasy Auction Night.
In Miami, let's take a look at the Nationals starting lineup, presented to you by Southwest. We've got Adam Eaton at the top, followed by Trey Turner and Bryce Harper. Well, there have been 1, 2, or 1,000 headlines about Bryce Harper in the last 24 hours. We'll get our first look at really the face of the franchise the last 10 or so years, Ryan Zimmerman. He's been in and out of the lineup, on and off the roster all year, so get our first look at Zimmerman hitting number 4. But first, it is Adam Eaton against Dan Straley to start this 4-game set, and Straley's first pitch misses low for ball 1. So let's meet Dan Straley. Yes, this is the same Dan Straley that started the year on the DL, but his last 5 starts, a completely different pitcher.
Yeah, pitching a bit like an ace. How about a 2.42 ERA in July and 5 consecutive quality starts? That is outstanding stuff. He's been on a great run. Fastball, sinker, change, and slider. That's kind of been the arsenal. He's done a fantastic job of late using that slider a lot more, even when he is behind in the count. On July 6th, he faced the Nationals in DC. 6 innings, 5 hits, couple earned runs, walked 3. It's one of the quality starts I had mentioned. 111 pitches that day. He used 61 off-speed pitches against the Nats. But a 3.86 career ERA as well.
2-2 on the way to Eaton. Is lifted into foul territory. Chasing after it is Prado and Maben, but that will bounce into the seats, and it remains 2-2. So Eaton at the top spot in the lineup. He's out in right field tonight. That moves Bryce Harper out to center field. We've seen that a few times this year. Eaton has been dealing with some injuries the last couple of years, so in an effort to give him less ground to cover, if you will, he's been out in right a bit. Nationals have a bunch of different outfielders, in fact. Certainly the 3 that are in the lineup today. We've got Soto, Harper, and Eaton, but also Michael A. Taylor that can roam around out in center field. As Eaton draws the leadoff walk.
Let's get you the Marlins defensively behind Straley for tonight's ball game. And left, you've got Cameron Maben getting to start tonight. Sierra in center field. Anderson over in right. Prado, Rojas, Castro and Board. JT Realmuto behind the plate. Defense has been very good on the homestand. Certainly very good over the last 2-3 weeks or so. 8-4 record for the Marlins. Their last 12 games, pitching's been good. Defense even better.
A strike to Trey Turner. 12 homers and 40 RBIs on the season to go along with a .261 batting average. 10 for 33, couple of home runs and 11 RBIs this year for Turner against the Marlins. Nationals come to town after having dropped, check that, 1-2 of 3 against the Milwaukee Brewers. This one grounded foul, 0-2. But overall, just kind of trying to figure out where they're at. Again, they did lose 2 out of 3 to Milwaukee, my mistake, but just trying to figure out where they're at. And in fact, from a team perspective, it came out today, Jeff Passan of Yahoo Sports, among many other things that were mentioned, was they'll figure out if they are buyers or sellers by the end of this series, which coming into 2018, I don't think anybody would have thought that seller would even be any sort of an option for Dave Martinez in his first year as the manager.
Oh, they're 50-51, Paul. I mean, that tells you something right off the top. Certainly not among the division leaders or league leaders. And when you look at what they've done this season, I mean, they've picked on the last place teams. They're 6-1 versus the Marlins, 5-1 versus the Orioles, 3-0 versus the Reds, 22-10 overall versus last place teams. Now we talk about teams above 500, good teams. How about 28-41 against everybody else? Now the question is this: as the Nationals try to figure out their direction, I don't know if this weekend necessarily should be the parameter for deciding whether they're going to be buyers or sellers. They got to see a little bit more. On June 9th, the Nationals were 37-26. Since then, they are 13-25.
Two balls and 2 strikes with Eaton away from first. This one chopped left side and past the dive of Miguel Rojas into left field. As Trey Turner gets another knock against the Marlins this year. 2 on, nobody out.
Now this 2-seam fastball stays about thigh high. He just kind of squeaks it through the left side. And Rojas playing at double play depth. Definition of a seeing eye single. Nats in business here in the first.
So in steps Bryce Harper. The home run, RBI, and OPS column, they look okay, but it's the average column that is at 216 right now that has drawn an awful lot of attention this year. I think a lot of teams would sign up for a middle of the order bat. In Harper's case, the number 3 hitter to have 25 home runs and close to 60 RBIs.
Now, there have been rumors. Yeah, that's right. Listen in. There have been rumors that Harper could be on the move between now and the deadline. As shocking as that seems, I think, for many, the reigning home run
derby champion,
home run derby champion,
that's right,
could possibly be traded. Now, listen, I'll tell you what, it might make some sense. If you're a 50-51 team and you're not moving in the right direction, maybe you need to consider moving him.
We'll see what his last week holds for Harper and the Nationals. That one blocked by Real Muto, and the count 1-2.
Harper, a home run yesterday in Milwaukee, a 3-run shot. 1 for 4 on the day. A couple of strikeouts to go along with that home run.
1-2 from Straley. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. That's the first out here in the first. Something that Harper has been doing quite a bit of recently.
Yeah, certainly. I'll use the word explosive fastball. You see that run and elevation from Straley. This is a great pitch. Harper goes outside the zone, trying to come up with contact. He does not. Bryce Harper has now struck out in 13 consecutive games. That is his career high.
In steps Ryan Zimmerman. His first action this year against the Marlins. And he takes a called strike. Again, kind of a late start with some injuries for Zimmerman. With 28 hits this season, 12 of them have been for extra bases. 5 doubles, 2 triples, 5 home runs.
Now, one thing missing from last year's ball club that dominated the National League East, Zimmerman's bat. His consistency. He's just working his way back. Manager Dave Martinez has repeatedly talked about getting him back and getting him going. Currently sharing time with Matt Adams over at first base. Dave Martinez, boy, I'll tell you what, I think many of us saw 50-51 for Dave Martinez through just about 100 games here with the Nationals. A lot of expectations put on this team to win, and to win now.
Yeah, there were more than a handful of first-year managers, and coming into this year, Ron Gardenhire, the only, as they say, retread in Detroit, kind of a team that's going through a bit of a rebuild right now. And Zimmerman takes ball 2, but you've got Cora in Boston, you've got Boone in New York, certainly Dave Martinez here. You know, but these are all kind of win now situations.
Yeah, well, and yeah, you're absolutely right, Paul. I think so many of these guys were put into situations that we would call enviable.
Right.
I mean, you know, situations where you've got a loaded roster, a great team, lots of power, good starting pitching. Well, the Nats are that on paper.
Zimmerman spoils another one, stays 2-2.
Fortunately, have not backed it up on the field. See the career numbers against the Marlins, outstanding stuff. Zimmerman again just working his way back. Did play yesterday in Milwaukee.
Again, a 2-2 pitch. Lifted on the infield. An infield fly rule. Castro catches it anyway for the second out. Well, whether it's Zimmerman or Eaton, as I mentioned before, Daniel Murphy, who's not in the lineup because he's been playing a lot, He's still not maybe at 100%. Strasburg on the DL. All these things, and every team deals with them, I understand. All these things, these injuries, point to why the Nationals are where they are. They are also where they are, which is maybe on the periphery of the race, despite all those injuries, because of this guy right here, Juan Soto. The premier rookies in the game, hitting .303. A pickoff eaten at second base. Miguel Rojas snuck in behind him. Straley delivered a strike. And Rojas applied the tag. We go to the bottom of the first. West Transparency, Low Fares, Nothing to Hide by WB Mason. Who but WB Mason, the official office supply company of the Miami Marlins. By Chevrolet, so your South Florida dealer today, and by your local Toyota dealer, Toyota. Let's go places. That's a hopping spot right there. That's where Craig Minervini is hanging out, monitoring the 13th annual Fox Sports Florida Fantasy Auction powered by South Florida Ford. And it's going on tonight as Starlin Castro leads things off against Tommy Milone. So we'll be talking about that, checking in with Craig and Jessica throughout the night. All proceeds from this event benefit the Marlins Foundation with a focus on the Marlins Youth Baseball Initiatives. Here is the Marlins starting lineup presented to you by Southwest. Castro at the top, of course, with Brian Anderson and JT Realmuto also due up this inning. We also see Magneuris Sierra back in the lineup in center field, and he will hit 8th in this his second Marlins game against Tommy Milone, who has been around the block a little bit in his career, but this is his first start in 2018.
That's right, 31 years old, 20 starts at Syracuse this year, 7.4, 4.19 ERA, and that's right, base hit up the middle. There you go, Starlin. Right on time.
Right off the foot of Milone, who looks to be okay.
I'll tell you what, Paul, I was about ready to start, kind of putting together the game approach, and Starlin kind of beat me to the punch. You got to think up the middle against Tommy Milone, no doubt about it. He's a veteran. He's been around for quite some time. He knows his craft and certainly knows his arsenal. Swing there. Start this ball game. You see his numbers at AAA. Solid stuff. 109 innings, 101 hits allowed, 113 hits. Only thing that really stands out, the home runs allowed, that certainly has impacted him. He hasn't walked too many, but of course this is the big leagues.
Ryan Anderson takes inside. Anderson coming off a nice afternoon the other day against the Atlanta Braves. 3 for 3, 3 runs scored. And he's had some good numbers this year against the Nationals. 7 for 24, a home run, 5 RBIs. Lefty Malone deals. Misses low, 2 balls and no strikes.
Yeah, you mentioned the last game before the day off, obviously. Anderson 3 hits that day. Great midfield approach, kind of the Brian Anderson approach, if you will. It was, I'll use the term, kind of rediscovered the idea of how he finds his success. All 3 of his hits up the middle the other way.
Or poke through the 5.5 hole. Either way, either way, he'll take his hits. Back-to-back singles against Malone.
Back-to-back hits for the Marlins to start the bottom of the first inning. Let's go ahead and get you the Auto Nation scouting report of Tommy Malone. Veteran spot start. Yeah, that's what's going on today. Now listen, he's got a lot of big league experience. 45 and 36 and a 4.37 ERA in 146 big league games, 126 of those starts. Now, he's going to mix it up today. 4-seam fastball, sinker, changeup, curve, and cutter. The 4-seam fastball, keep your eye on it. It's a pitch that at times he's got to have to get to his secondary stuff. But big league hitters have teed off on it. 292 career batting average against his 4-seam fastball, 528 slug. Less is more, really just trying to get to that changeup. It's his biggest pitch and the pitch he uses to get the most strikeouts.
That one low and in to JT Realmuto. A chance here to get the Marlins on the board. Nationals had 2 on in the top of the inning, but a pickoff of Eaton at second base got Straley out of any trouble. So now we'll see if his battery mate, JT Realmuto, can get the Marlins on the board against the Nationals. There's a strike. How they play JT, the distribution of balls in play on the ground, on the infield. StatCast AI powered by AWS.
Certainly plays to his swing a little bit. Of course, a lot of the balls he hits in the air go to center field and to right center field. Malone, more of a ground ball pitcher. Typically doesn't walk very many.
This one left field, and that will get down for a base hit. Castro around from third, he'll score. Anderson being held. It is an RBI double for Realmuto, and the Marlins have a 1-0 lead.
Well, a couple of games ago, Paul, JT Realmuto jump-started this offense with a home run on a breaking ball. A nice job staying back. Well, guess what? This is a 1-2 breaking ball, and he puts the Marlins on the scoreboard once again first. Nice job there, staying back and staying through it, able to drive it down that left field line. And I'll tell you what, after a little bit of a cold spell to somewhat start this second half, both JT Realmuto and Anderson picking it up here over the last couple of games.
Justin Bohr fouls one right back. Yeah, well, JT had 4 RBIs, 2 shy of his single-game career high on Tuesday afternoon. He picks up right where he left off with a ribby double here in the first. We'll see if JB can add to what JT did a moment ago. The 0-1 is in there for a called strike on the inside corner by the home plate umpire Angel Hernandez. He's also the crew chief. Chris Siegel is over at first. Tim Timmons, the umpire, at second, and Mike McClinsky is over at third.
And you see Malone really trying to work that changeup in already. Does throw it to both the lefties and the righties. Let's go ahead and give you a look at that grip. It's a circle change. And I think that what makes it unusual is that he is so willing to throw it to the lefties as well. Most lefties don't like to change up on left-handed hitters. Did it again.
And why is that? Because it may sit right in that happy zone?
Yeah, well, if the mistake comes, it's not about the ones that you execute, it's about the one that you don't execute that ends up on the inner third about thigh high and typically gets rerouted over the right field wall.
It's the one that makes the lefty's eyes light up. Out to right center field. Drifting over is Eaton. He will make the catch. Tagging from third is Anderson. He'll score. Throw goes toward third where Real Muto ends up. It's a sac fly for Justin Bohr.
Let's go ahead and introduce you to the Washington Nationals defensively for tonight's ball game. We've seen many of them already. Soto, Harper, Eaton, that's your outfield. Mark Reynolds getting to start at third base. Turner, Defoe, Zimmerman, Wieters behind the plate. Malone on the mound.
Well, 2 runs in the inning with another sitting at third and 1 out for Martin Prado.
Now, it's hard to ignore what we've seen here in the first inning. Marlins have been the better team offensively in the month of July. They've been better than the Nats. That's a fact. You look at just about any type of number. You look at this first inning, and Washington Nationals fans would say, wow, we really missed an opportunity. We had the first 2 guys on. Well, what have the Marlins done when they got their first 2 guys on? Some good, clean, productive at-bats have led to 2 runs already and looking for more.
Prado's got an RBI in 3 straight games against the Nationals, a total of 5 in that span, and he's got a chance to add to it with Real Muto on at third and the infield in. Able to get out of the way of that one. 2-1.
We're seeing a similar pattern from Malone. Cutters into the righties. You'll see that changeup, sinker, curveball away.
20th pitch of the first inning on the way from Malone, and it's in there for a called strike. Prado with 5 RBIs this year against the Nationals. Count now full. Back-to-back singles by Castro and Anderson before an RBI double from Real Muto, and then a Justin Bohr sac fly have the Marlins up 2-0 early. With the win on the Sunday afternoon at the end of the 4-game series that these 2 teams played in Washington a few weeks ago before the break, that ended a lengthy losing streak against the Nats for the Marlins. But the Nationals have won 6 in a row here at Marlins Park, looking to put an end to that streak. As Prado lifts one out to right field, coming in is Eaton, who will make the catch. Certainly not deep enough to tag. Real Muto took a few steps toward home in case that one fell in. It does not, and there are 2 away.
Yeah, you brought up the series and the run that the Nationals have had against the Marlins. One thing that was not missing in the 4-game series in D.C. July 5th through the 8th was runs. The Marlins were absolutely outstanding offensively. They scored 28 runs in the 4-game series. They averaged 7 runs a game. Now the pitching broke down a bit, certainly in losing 3 of those 4 games, but the offense was there. So coming into this 4-game series, hard for me not to believe that the boys aren't feeling good about going up against the Nationals.
And Cameron Maben with a base hit up the middle. He stays red hot, scores Real Muto, and it's a 3-run first inning for the Marlins.
Now, the byproduct of wearing a starting pitcher down, even in the first inning, at times they will make mistakes. Marlins have been ready for the mistakes. Malone's made a few out over the plate. This a belt-high fastball. Sent right back through the middle for a 2-out RBI. Only 3-0 lead. Good swing by Maben. I'll tell you what, boy, he's been so impressive. over the last 3 weeks.
His last 20 games hitting over 340 with that RBI single, and now it's Rojas. Maben goes, throw from Zimmerman is in time. Zimmerman plays a lot of first base these days, in part because the throwing has been a bit of an issue for him, so they test him after Maben gets picked off. One more look to see if Defoe applied the tag. And the Marlins are going to think about this for 1 second, or perhaps more. Nope, they will not challenge. So both the top and bottom of the first inning end with close plays around the second base bag. 3-0. Hello. Oh, that too, yeah.
Fantasy auction night here at Marlins Park, and I am joined by a couple of special guests. This is Ray Rocha and Ken Fairman. They run the Miracle League of Miami-Dade. And Ray, for people who don't know what the Miracle League is, how would you describe it?
Well, Jessica, the Miracle League is a national organization that was founded in Rockdale County, Georgia. We were able to get it to Miami in 2010. The mission statement is quite simple. Every child deserves a chance to play baseball. It's a baseball league for children and young adults with physical or developmental challenges.
Ken, tell me about your partnership with the Marlins, why it's been important.
Oh, the Marlins have gotten this all done. I mean, it was an idea that developed at Howard Palmetto Baseball, but through the Marlins Foundation and the Miami-Dade County Parks and Rec Department, along with some generous private donations, we took a field at Tamiami Park, field number 9, and made it to a one-of-a-kind field, and it's amazing what it's done for the kids.
How has that field impacted your organization?
Well, from the outset, we were hosting games all over the city at various high schools. At the end of the day, there's no place like home. So we've got a field, it's a special surface field, and the kids get an opportunity to play ball in a totally unencumbered, safe environment. At the end of the day, we want safety first.
That is a wonderful organization. Guys, thank you so much for the time. Paul, we know that the Marlins not only love giving back to the community, but they want to make sure that every child has the opportunity to play baseball.
Jessica, guys, thank you so much. And yes, absolutely. Couldn't have said it better myself. Of course, the Miracle League of Miami-Dade County, along with Marlins RBI, the Special Olympics, all part of the groups that are going to benefit from the night tonight. Again, the 13th annual Fox Sports Florida Fantasy Auction, powered by South Florida Ford. And it's certainly, we always talk about it, the next generation, and youth baseball in its many forms is where tomorrow's baseball stars are going to come from.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Great stuff.
Ground ball for Soto, who went back to the plate after Eaton was picked off the second base to end the first. And now Mark Reynolds. Mark Reynolds had a pretty good week one night against the Marlins. I think that might be one way to put it, right? 5 hits, 10 RBIs on July 7th. And 10 ribbies matched a single game Nationals record. 5th most in a game in Nationals history. And it was It was just one of those runs. He had actually had the walk-off home run the night prior, the 5 consecutive hits in the Saturday game. And now lines this one to left field. Cameron Maben will play it on a hop. And then the next day had a hit. He had 7 consecutive hits. Here he starts his night with a 1-out single in inning number 2.
Hey Marlins fans, now you can stream games live on your mobile device with Fox Sports Go, presented by Coors Light. Download the app, take Fox Sports Florida and Marlins baseball wherever you go.
Here's Matt Wieters. Swings and fouls the first pitch out of play to the left side. Wieters behind the plate tonight for the Nationals, and it's been a position that the Nationals have not gotten much production out of at all. On the whole, whoever has been the catcher, the slash line average on base slugging 190, 277, 271 this year for Nationals catchers. And Wieters, who has spent some time on the disabled list, is 5 for 32 with no RBI since coming off the DL. Certainly one of the reasons why there have been rumors and chatter about the Marlins catcher, who we happen to like quite a bit. In fact, JT Realmuto perhaps being a nice fit in Washington, D.C. And this time of year, everybody is trying to come up with ways to make deals like that and many others happen. Whether or not things actually get done is a whole other ball of wax. But franchises, again, on the whole, in general, get very creative this time of year. That is a double play to get Straley out of any trouble in the second. 3-0.
To say hello to Diana and Valentina from Columbia and the South Florida Ford models to show us some of the things we're going to be talking about, including how about Live Wild? Have you made a trip to Zoo Miami? Hopefully you caught Kelly Sacco on the latest Inside the Marlins. You'll get a chance to get a behind-the-scenes tour at Zoo Miami. Ron McGill is the best in the business, great guy. He'll give you a tour. You'll get tickets also to the Lion Country Safari, which is outstanding. If you've never been there in Palm Beach County, you can swim with the dolphins. Miami Seaquarium, a Thriller Speedboat Tour as well, and Miguel Rojas will sign an autographed bat for you. All part of the package. Live Wild for 2, and that behind-the-scenes tour, by the way, is for 5 at Zoo Miami. Don't forget to place your bids online by visiting marlins.com/fantasy. All right, guys? So we'll see the bidding right now on that is $800. That's a great bargain.
It's at 800 right now, the live lap?
It's at 800, yes.
Oh, terrific.
Right there.
What's our, where are we at right now? What's our lead bid?
Our leader, I think, is right here. Player for a day, Paul.
Okay.
At just over $2,000. And the ultimate entertainment at $1,600. This, Mike Hill talked about this in the pregame show. That player for a day, that's a chance to get it behind the scenes. You go in the clubhouse, get a jersey. You actually sit in on the coaches meeting. You're in there with Don Mattingly. You tell him who to play. It's amazing.
Oh, terrific. It's as Rojas grounds out. You know, you could do what some teams do. The GM makes the lineup card.
Donnie's waiting for you to let him know who's going to be playing that day. I love it. He's one of the nicest, friendliest managers around, and honestly, he probably will listen to you.
If you give him 9, he maybe puts 2 where you want.
Well,
maybe something like that. Yeah, right.
He would certainly pay attention. That's Donnie, though. That's how he is.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, part of that player for a day, you actually get an interview. I don't think Craig mentioned this. An interview with Fox Sports Florida reporter Jessica Blaylock or Craig Minervini. How about that? That's in and of itself terrific. And no, those two are involved in other stuff too. I know Jessica's got a the Boston trip. She's going to lunch with whoever wins that one. I joked with her before the game because she was telling people while Don Mattingly was getting set to come out. She said, "You guys, you go to lunch with me." And I said, "Everybody, I turn that down every road trip, and somebody can win." I was kidding. I was kidding. Held on to by Wieters, and he'll throw down to first base to retire Sierra for the second out here in inning number 2. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Miami Marlins. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Miami Marlins. Dan Straley takes a look at ball 1 outside. Nobody on and 2 out for the Marlins in this second inning. They put 3 runs on the board in the first against Tommy Malone, making a spot start as Straley loops one into right field, and that will fall in front of Eaton for a base hit. A laser to right field.
It's all well, in the box score it is.
Absolutely.
I tell you. Well, Dan Straley with that base hit now ties his season total for last year, which was a career high. He had a career high 4 hits last year. This is his 4th hit of the season. Nice approach, even off the end of the bat. I'm telling you, Dan has been a lot more aggressive in the box as 4 or 5 starts he's made. You've seen some really good swings. How about this? Getting it done. And watch Dan Straley running straight through the bag. That's exactly what all pitchers should do in that situation. I used to think about it all the time when I was playing right. I'm throwing this guy out.
And the right-hand turn, too.
Right.
He wants to leave nothing, no stone unturned. So he leads off of first base as the lineup turns over for Starlin Castro, who takes the ball low. Yeah, in all seriousness, the offense has picked up for Straley this year.
It really has. Well, and again, as I said, last 4 or 5 starts, he's been so much better. Just a real good approach up the middle, going the other way. I'm really not kidding about this. He's got 5 walks this season, guys. Think about that for a second. As a pitcher, he's got an on-base percentage before that hit of .320. That's not respectable. That's a well above average.
Yeah.
Even this season with a grand total of 5 walks. Has got 5 this year, now 10 on the season.
A career year at the plate for Dan Straley.
Didn't see that coming.
No. 3 balls and no strikes to Castro, who led off the bottom of the first inning with a single and came around to score. His last 25 games, 13 multi-hit games. See if he gets the green light on 3-0. If he does, he chooses not to go, and it's 3-1.
Yeah, that's a pretty common theme. I think we saw a bit of it in the first inning. If you can wait out Malone and get something up. Notice that most of the offense in that first inning were on pitches up in the zone.
And Castro with another multi-hit game, this one toward left center field. Straley takes a turn toward third, Castro to second, and he's in there safely. He gets away from Defoe, but another base hit for Castro.
The 23rd double on the season. Stu-seam fastball stays up, thigh high. You see the eyes going right down the barrel as he lines it into center field. His second hit of the game. Let's take a peek at Starlin coming out of the box. Nice job by Dan Straley to get going. I love the fact that he's pushing it right there. Get into scoring position. Dan Straley well on his way into third. We've talked about this a lot. The Marlins have been outstanding on the bases last 2 or 3 weeks. We saw some great base running from Dietrich last ball game on similar ball into center field 2 different times. In fact, he was able to draw an error out of Inciarte by really stepping on the gas around second.
On a base hit by this man, Brian Anderson, who also had a single and a run scored in the first inning. Cuts and misses, 0-2. Well, for Anderson, the opportunities continue to find him, and he continues to come through. Entered the day 4th in Major League Baseball with a .404 average with runners in scoring position. Now, I said it when Soto came to the plate, and certainly the last team that was in here was the Atlanta Braves, them with Ronald Acuna Jr., but for my money, Brian Anderson is the front runner for National League Rookie of the Year. He's first in games, runs, hits, RBIs, average with runners in scoring position. He's played a terrific defense this year, but he strikes out to end the inning. 3-0 Marlins after 2. Sports Florida Fantasy Auction powered by South Florida Ford. Our South Florida Ford models are going to help us showcase a couple of the items you are bidding on tonight. Remember, these are all for the Marlins Foundation. They were outstanding charities. One of them is Foodie's Delight there that Diana is pointing out. Barry Chase is the leader right now at $800. This is an amazing dining experience for 2 at Toro Toro, at Smith and Walensky, and at Stubborn Seat. And not only that, you're going to get a private at-home dinner party for 6 by the executive chef of Wawa's, Taqueria and Glam, and that is Todd Erickson, who you may remember beat Bobby Flay on his show. Remember that show? He was one of only 2 chefs to beat him. He did that. You also get 4 VIP tickets to the South Florida Beach Seafood Festival. And Valentina's over here. She's going to show us about just getting started. This is up and down the Marlins minor league chain. You're talking baseballs that are autographed right from the Pacific Coast League with autographs from members of the Baby Cakes, hats, Batavia Muck Dogs, and also there's a good look at the New Orleans Baby Cakes hat. So that's part of all the giveaways up and down every affiliate in the Marlins
chain, you'll have 2 or 3 or 4 items, including a Monty Harrison autograph bat. Guys, the new numbers just came out for the Marlins prospects, and Harrison was ranked #1. You'll get an autograph bat from him, among other goodies in the Just Getting Started package.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth, Craig. Terrific stuff. Yeah, I saw that today. That Monte Harrison, according to one scouting service, the new top prospect in the Marlins system.
Well, you want to know why? He's backing it up. He's going out this year and getting it done. For long home runs.
3-0 lead as Wilmer Defoe leads off. Ball and 2 strikes. Here comes from Straley, fouled right back. It is Defoe, Malone, and Eaton. 8, 9, and 1. Ball loose right outside the Marlins dugout. Reason for the delay as Straley gets set to deliver. A 1-2 pitch to Defoe. Out to center field. Sierra moving towards his right will make the play for out number 1.
I'll tell you what, Dan Straley's done a lot of things right over his last 5 starts. As we mentioned, the Open, 5 consecutive quality starts. The team winning, playing good baseball behind him as well. 2.42 ERA in July. The other thing that really stands out in the 5-start run, obviously coming into tonight, he's only allowed 2 home runs. That's always an issue with Dan Straley, something that we always kind of keep our eyes on. A lot of times when Dan gets in trouble, the ball starts to fly out of the yard a little bit too much. Has not been the case lately. Only 2 coming into tonight over his last 5 starts.
Well, those 5 starts were kind of the basis of a Clark Spencer article in the Miami Herald a week or so ago, right after his last start against the Rays, in fact, and kind of stumbled upon the thought of a 2-seam sinking fastball kind of back into the repertoire for Dan Straley as he gets the ground ball of Malone. He said he started using it more around that June 25th start against Arizona 5 starts ago.
Well, it makes him that much more dangerous. Again, typically would throw the 4-seam fastball. That pitch there that you see put in play was a slider. Again, his secondary pitches have always been, well, even outstanding going back to last year. It's not that he's changing up the slider, the changeup. That's always part of it. It's just kind of redistributing his 4-seam fastball usage into more of a 50-50 split. Meaning it's not going to be 50 4-seam fastballs at a start. It's going to be 30, and then it's going to be 20 sinkers. We saw a few of them in the first inning when he got in trouble. In fact, he struck out Harper on the 2-seam fastball.
Well, it's the old baseball adage. It's hard to get here. It's harder to stay. So just because Dan Straley has been a major leaguer for X number of years, it doesn't mean that he and others are not trying to continue to perfect their craft. I mean, we've seen that with basically everybody. I mean, you were a different player in your last year than your first year.
Well, and that's the edge of a major leaguer. Any young guys out there listening thinking, okay, I want to be a big leaguer. That's the edge of the major leaguers. The major leaguers are never satisfied. There isn't a day they wake up and go to the yard and say, I've done what I've done is good enough. They're always trying to get better, trying to be a little bit more than they were the day before.
Well, especially at the big league level, in a situation like this where Straley might see the Nationals 3, 4, 5 times this year.
He's got to have a different game plan. Yeah. I mean, he may have to reroute a few different times. Right. You know what I mean? Certainly Dan's very creative. He certainly mentioned in his last start against the Nationals threw 61 off-speed pitches. What does that tell you? He had to change the game plan. He knows the number of lefties in this Nationals lineup, ones that have power. Add, subtract velocity.
Payoff pitch coming to Eaton. In the air and out to left field where Cameron Maben will put it away. We apologize for that. But a 1-2-3 inning in the 3rd. first, we check in on the fantasy auction with Craig and Jessica.
All right, thank you very much, Paul. And Jessica's going to talk about that road trip, which you'll be going on to Boston in a few weeks.
That is correct. I think this is personally one of the best packages that you can bid on. A, because you get to hang out with me, but B, listen to all of these cool things that you get. A round-trip airfare for 2, 4-night hotel stay for 2 at Hotel Commonwealth in Boston, 2 tickets to Marlins versus Red Sox, a VIP tour up Fenway Park, a personalized message on the New Balance message board. Oh, and there it is. Lunch with Jessica Blaylock at a great Italian restaurant in the North End. I'll even take you over to Mike's Pastries to get you authentic cannolis. That is on me.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
That's usually high end, too. I can speak for that, and I picked up the tab many a time. All right, the Marlins shout-outs here. We've got to get the word out, and there's something new, guys, and that is a video message from each of the following Marlins: Brian Anderson, Don Mattingly, JT Realmuto, Lewis Brinson, and Pablo Lopez. They'll make a message for you. Maybe you want to send it to mom or your hubby or your wife. Happy anniversary, Merry Christmas, your Twitter feed. They'll do something personalized for you, and you're going to get a visit from Billy the Marlin and the Marlin Mermaids at your next corporate or family event. That's pretty cool. So again, place your bids online, marlins.com/fantasy. They'll direct you how to do it this year. And we'll see. We don't have a bid on that yet, so that's at $750 to start.
Oh, Craig, I got to tell you what, that to me, I mean, I guess the first thing I think of is, well, now JT Realmuto is an all-star, and maybe he's at the beginning of a Hall of Fame career. So, I mean, my goodness, it'd be pretty cool to have a video message kind of directed at you from somebody who may end up in the Hall of Fame.
Absolutely. The skipper will do one for you as well. Brinson, Lopez, and Brian Anderson, who's in the conversation.
Absolutely. There you go. Right. So this is something that could, you know, this is a gift that kind of keeps on giving, right?
That's right. Personalized.
There you go.
Just for you. And, you know, everybody likes to show off. You see Jessica with her Instagram and her Snapchat. Even, Valentine, you have a Instagram?
Of course, yes.
You like to show off. You know some people. So this is an opportunity to do that. And the Marlins will be center stage for you. They'll try to keep it, though, to, is it 30 seconds on Instagram? Something like 20? They'll try to keep it to the time limit. Thank you.
It all depends on if it's an Instagram story, it's shorter than a regular Instagram post.
It might be
Craig.
like 20.
So
I think you're right.
I think it's up to a minute even on Instagram.
I'm going to have a conversation with Craig about how social media works. Don't worry. I've got it covered.
Don't worry, Craig. I'm with you. I have no. What's Instagram?
It's how you post all kinds of pictures.
That's right.
That's what I need to do. We need to post more selfies of us. with you not aware of it. That would be great.
You'd get me if it was Instagram. I don't know what it is.
Fly ball off the bat of Realmuto, a strikeout of Bohr. 2 quick outs for Malone here in the third, and that'll bring up Martin Prado. Also, by the way, in the Marlins shoutouts, a visit from Billy the Marlin and Marlins Mermaids at your next corporate or family event. So there's not only the personalized messages, but physical guests.
Well, rumor has it that Billy the Marlin is quite the party animal.
Yeah,
I heard he is.
Billy Martin was the party animal too, I believe.
Weren't we just in Tampa? I mean, somebody
was there.
Who was having a party in Tampa?
Raymond.
Thank you. Right.
Yeah.
Fill in the blanks for me here, buddy. So, and Billy was at the center of a lot of the stuff they were doing there.
It was. I think he got hosed on the
home run derby.
The home run derby. It's
sure did.
It's unfair. But we promise, Billy the Marlin will not bring that up at your next corporate or family event to whomever is lucky enough to win the bid on the Marlins shoutouts. Chop foul off the bat of Prado, 1-2. Prado with a fly ball out to Eaton in the first inning. Fouls it straight back. Yeah, when those mascots get together, it can be fun, but it can be a little bit of trouble too sometimes, because they're all rabble-rousers. You know who's the leader of all that? The Philly Fanatic. He's always getting mixed up into some kind of a mess.
Right.
I'll tell him that too.
Not standing next to me, you won't. He sometimes shows up in booths, man. We don't need that. Need that kind of traffic.
You know, I think it was Tommy Lasorda a few years ago, like actually lost it on the Philly Fanatic.
Yeah. Well, Tommy,
it was not like for show.
Yeah, right.
He was in his personal space, and he just.
I got to be honest, Tommy didn't like mascots. He never did. I think they scared him a little bit.
Could have been. 3-2 to Prado. On the ground to Reynolds at third. And after a 1-2-3 inning, we move to the fourth. At the top of the fourth inning, Dan Straley will face Trey Turner, Bryce Harper, and Ryan Zimmerman. It's been crisp. Got a double play to get him out of any trouble in the second inning. A 1-2-3 third inning. But the biggest threat for the Nationals was in the first. They had 2 on, nobody out. Straley got out of it. Strikeout, infield fly, and then Adam Eaton was picked off of second base. Trey Turner has one of the 2 Nationals hits tonight. And he takes a little low, 2-0.
A few different Nationals had career games. Think back to 4-game series earlier this month in D.C. Trey Turner was one of them.
This one out to left center field. Sierra looks up, and that one is gone. A solo home run for Trey Turner.
No doubter for Turner. Turner came in ice cold. Now 2 for 2 this evening against Straley. Fastball center cut. You see the extension. That long finish. 427 feet. That's by definition a no doubter here at Marlins Park.
Yes, sir. His 3rd home run this year, 12th RBI against the Marlins. And with a couple of more hits, he is 12 for 35 this year. Here's Bryce Harper. And here is the 0-1 from Straley.
Well, since the huge series that Turner had against the Marlins in D.C.'s, was 8 for 56 coming in. That was a 143 batting average. Of course, somehow the Marlins have woken him back up again. 2 hits tonight, getting a home run.
One, 2 to Harper. This is low and away to even things up. Well, not including the strikeout in the first inning, but since June 1st, Harper hitting 193, 7 homers, 19 RBIs in 44 games. His first 55 games of the year hit 233, still not great, but 18 homers and 40 RBIs.
He's third in the National League with 111 strikeouts, and I'll tell you what, how about 21 strikeouts in his last 43 at bats?
Add another. Let's check in with Craig.
Thank you, Paul. And we want to thank our title sponsor and our South Florida Ford models here for joining us each and every year. South Florida Ford is made up of 28 dealers covering 13 counties in the southern half of Florida, and philanthropically, fewer better. They donate each year over $1 million to various charities through sponsorships and partnerships. They're always involved in the Marlins Fantasy Auction and the annual Celebrity Golf Classic, and they give some great experiences, including VIP passes for sporting events to needy people around our community. So again, thanks to our friends at South Florida Ford, our title sponsor once again here for the annual Fantasy Auction.
All right, Craig, what do we got on the big board there? Give me your latest update.
Let's see,
here.
player for a day is up to 2,100.
Beautiful.
Ultimate Entertainment, almost 2,100. Our leader, though, look at this, the 25th anniversary, 2,450. That's in fact, we have a couple of the bobblehead signed autographs, jerseys from many of the players. I think baseball signed by nearly 25 former Marlins. Good play there. You see baseball bats. We've got the autographed bobbleheads as well from the 2 World Series winning skippers in Jim Leland right there, and Jack McKeon, of course, with the cigar, which is not lit, thankfully.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, there's a lot of terrific stuff out there. You mentioned that Ultimate Entertainment package as Juan Soto digs in with 2 outs here in the inning. Mentioned this in the open, the Ultimate Entertainment package. Tickets to, and you can check out all of the details on marlins.com/fantasy, but tickets to Marlins, Heat, Panthers, Dolphins games, Real Madrid against Manchester United on July 31st. Monster Jam at BB&T Center on August 12th. You get Marlins jerseys. Soto with a line shot to right field, and that's the second homer of the inning for the Nationals. They're back to within a run.
We saw the fastball to Turner turned around, center cut. This one center cut as well, a little bit up in the zone. You see JT kind of reaching up. Soto handles that ball. He hits that crouch, handles the ball at the letters very well. Line shot out to right.
A ball at the top of the zone, 110 off the bat. And the Marlins lead down to 1. Reynolds swings and misses, and it's 0-2. Time for the Florida Lottery in-game jackpot. 6 games, 11 for 17, 4 homers and 12 RBIs.
647. I mean, come on.
That
it's like an area code.
it might.
I live in the 647. When he hits 647.
Well, he has 12 RBIs. I mean, in fairness, 10 of them came in one game.
He's got 35 hits in the season, 11 against the Marlins. Wow. Like him hitting in this spot here with nobody on base.
Ball and 2 strikes from Straley. That one fouled away. Well, again, depending on where the Nationals go these next 4 days, apparently that's the timeline set forth by different reports that we've seen out there. Most recently, Jeff Passan of Yahoo Sports. They're going to know by the end of the weekend if they're buyers or sellers. Mark Reynolds would be one of those guys who could potentially be on the move. A right-handed bat off the bench for some, but a ground ball to the left side to end it. And that's getting 2 back. Fox Sports Florida is brought to you by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. The Cleveland Clinic. And by Publix, where shopping is a pleasure. Welcome back inside the broadcast booth. Hey, everybody. Now we're inside the broadcast booth. Paul Severino, Todd Hollandsworth with you again. Very special night here. Very honored to be a part of this and keep the tradition going. The 13th annual Marlins Fantasy Auction powered by South Florida Ford. Nice to be a part of this, raising money for great causes through the Marlins Foundation. Youth initiatives certainly at the forefront of all of it. A lot of different things to bid on along the way that we've been talking about throughout the night, including golf with the big guy.
I'm telling you, it's going to be a blast. You do not want to miss out on this. And listen, I kind of put myself in the 4th tier of this incredible package. I mean, the top golf stuff. Listen, you get to do it with 2 Marlins, so I can promise you're going to have a blast. Now, I'm part of a threesome. The four of us. Obviously, we've got a foursome at Crandon Key, Biscayne. That's going to be a blast. I can promise you, no matter what happens, you're going to have a good time. There's also a foursome at Deering Bay Yacht and Country Club. And here's the one I keep telling everybody about, because you got to get this. Listen, there's a VIP experience for 2 at the Honda Classic. Now, this is a big deal. Honorary observer group for the chance to walk inside the ropes during a competition day of your choice. Now, remember, the last 3 winners, Justin Thomas, Ricky Fowler, Adam Scott. I mean, these guys are some of the best golfers in the world, so you get to go one of the best golf events. You may be following one of them around. I mean, the Honda Classic is one of the bigger events on the PGA Tour. So, I mean, this is an all-inclusive golf package that I think is going to be an awful lot of fun for anybody who loves golf. And I can promise you, our foursome, there will be no disappointment. At the end of the day, you will have a good time. I can guarantee you that. But at the same time, there's a lot of great, a lot of great things also in this package.
Yeah, no question about it. Let's check in with Craig and see where things stand right now on the golf package. Craigers, what do you have?
Yes, it's one of the great packages you mentioned, and there's so many things to like about it. How neat is that Top Golf that a lot of people are getting interested in, and it's going to come up on our board in 1 second. But you've got that, as you mentioned, the Honda Classic, which is at the beautiful PGA National, and that is a great course, the Champ course, well known for the bear trap on 15, 16, and 17, made famous by Jack Nicklaus. And then, of course, as you guys mentioned, Todd's going to golf at beautiful Key Biscayne, which has been the host of the Marlins Golf Classic several times over the years, and the foursome at the Deering Bay Yacht and Country Club. But you see on this board here, we're up to almost 2,600 on that entertainment package Paul was talking about. And here's the golf package with the Marlins. The leader right now is M Gusto 1, and it's at $1,350. And again, marlins.com/fantasy. You go on there. If you're outbid, they will text your phone, and then you can rebid via the phone. They'll give you all the information at marlins.com/fantasy.
Terrific. You know, you saw it right above that was the Hall of Fame package. Of course, this is the Hall of Fame weekend. So we got 6 guys going to the Hall of Fame on Sunday. The Hall of Fame package right now is just at $1,200, but that's round-trip airfare for 2, a one-night stay for 2 at the Cooper Inn. All of it, of course, in Cooperstown, New York. Archive tour for 4 at the National Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum. All the behind-the-scenes stuff, all of that white glove type of historical memorabilia. To be able to be behind the curtain for that, certainly something special. Not everybody is privy to that, so certainly want to get in on that as well. After the line drive for Rojas, 2 down for Tommy Milone here in the 4th inning. First of a 4-game series between these two teams. Max Scherzer and Pablo Lopez, the 2 starting pitchers in tomorrow's game. The South Florida Honda dealers have you covered for that. Marlins live pregame show on the air at 6:30. Greg and Gabby from center field in advance of a 7:10 first pitch. Magneuris Sierra got on and missed, and it's 0-2. Magneuris recalled from AAA New Orleans on Tuesday. And to the right side, off the glove of Zimmerman. See how they score that. Certainly not an easy play, and that's why they will give Sierra a hit. So his first Marlins hit. Congratulations to Sierra.
Yeah, good to see. The hits are going to start coming. Get past that initial anxiety. We call it butterflies, if you will. He's not. Tell you what, if Zimmerman comes up with that, I'm not sure Milone beats him to the bag. Sierra got out of the box so well.
One of the reasons why one would think the hits would come in bunches. He set a Cardinal. He came up with the Cardinals last year, of course. His second game in the big leagues was against the Marlins, but he started his Cardinals career by setting a Cardinals franchise record last year. Opened his career with a 9-game hit streak. So the hits came in bunches. Of course, came over with Sandy Alcantara, Zach Gallen, Daniel Castano in the trade for Marcell Ozuna in December. 1 on 2 out for Dan Straley. Poked a base hit his first time up. Already 7 hits for the Marlins. 2 outs here in the 4th. It's a Marlins team that has won 8 of 12 overall and 24-20 in their last 44 games. 1-2 to Straley. You'd understand why if someone is not watching on a nightly basis. So you look at, you see, all right, 44-59. They're right now in 4th place in the East. They can't be playing well, can they? Well, actually they can, and they have for about a month and a half now. Riding a 3-2 lead here in the 4th inning. Milone gets the strikeout of Straley. Marlins leave 1 in the inning. We are through 4 as the fantasy auction continues here at Marlins Park.
Annual Florida Fantasy Sports Auction continues here. It's a 3-2 ball game and a good one indeed here at Marlins Park. We welcome you back, tell you about the trip to Vegas. And a reminder, as you're bidding tonight, the bidding will end at 10 o'clock sharp. Not like past years where we went into extra innings even if the ball game did. Circus Circus, one of the old favorites on the Las Vegas Boulevard Strip. Round trip airfare for 2 JetBlue. You'll get 3 nights at Circus Circus, a great family spot. $150 food and beverage credit, and you also get the Killers album collection of 180-gram vinyl. Also, there are a few blackout dates that apply, but that is a good one. That's number 11 on our board. And right now, it's just, we'll get the updated number on that as well. The other one we want to tell you about is play ball. This is cool. Kickball, softball, hardball, take your pick. You'll get to do it right here on the Big League Diamond at Marlins Park, including a catered suite for 16 to a 2018 Marlins regular season home game. 2 teams can play a game right on the field for 90 minutes. As Brian Anderson pulls that one in right field. Here's some more information on that one too. You can make a catch like Brian Anderson in right field. But you get a suite for 16. Come out here with some great food and get to watch the ball game. And in the off season, you come on out here and play a game of kickball, softball, baseball. You'll get the visiting team locker room to yourself. You'll get a commemorative team photo as well. Uniforms for each team and 2 Marlins jerseys and Marlins t-shirts courtesy of Fanatics. All part of the play ball package, which is only at $9.50 right now. I mean, you can divvy that up on the group and really have a bargain of the night right there. $9.50 right now. Marlins WS champs are the leader. That one is going to go up. These ladies have been watching The Price is Right because they are doing a great job up here, guys.
So are you, Bob. I mean, Drew. I mean, Craig.
That's right.
Excellent work down there. We appreciate that. I will say this. Todd, you were privy to being able to be on big league fields for a dozen years, but when the Marlins had that great family day and they were able to bring families out on the field, the soft grass, you will never feel soft grass under your feet like the soft grass of a big league outfield.
Let me give you an example of how much fun that can actually be, right? So every now and again I get to, I'll bring my family out, like we talked about family day. You know what my guys rant and rave about? So they all bring their gloves, and sometimes at my family of 4 grows to a family of 6, as they always say. This buddy of mine happens to be a brother, if you know what I'm talking about, right? So we do this. They'll go out to the wall and they'll bring back some homers. They'll play on the track. I mean, there's a lot of things that you can do here. I know we say, hey, go play kickball or t-ball or whatever. Nice job by Dan Strailing. Backup slider gets Defoe. But you can come out to Marlins Park and do a variety of things on this beautiful, beautiful facility, on this grass. You're right. Turf is absolutely fun. I mean, but there's a million things you can do. I mean, it is like, I mean, if you want, bring your putter, by the way. I mean, it's that, it is that tight.
Yeah, excellent playing conditions. So that's the play ball package. As Tommy Malone bats, nobody on, 2 out here in the 5th inning. There's a strike, 1-1. 3 strikeouts tonight for Straley. Walked the first batter of the night, Adam Eaton, but no more walks since then. Fouled back to Eaton in the on-deck circle. Malone joins some very rare company, speaking with him at the plate. A 3-run home run on the first pitch of his major league career. 27th player in Major League history to pull that feat. But the 4th National to strike out tonight. We're through 4.5.
2-ball game in the 5th inning. Right now I am joined by one of our fine employees from Fox Sports Florida. This is Eric Esteban. He's the Director of Media Relations. Eric, you and I were just talking about how much we love this night, but there are a lot of people who put in a lot of hard work, especially behind the scenes, to make the fantasy auction work. We have a lot of thank yous that we need to say, right?
Definitely. On behalf of Fox Sports Florida and our general manager, Steve Tello, I really want to give a big thank you to the Marlins and everyone at the Marlins Foundation and all the sponsors who gave all the amazing items and prizes. Tonight wouldn't be possible without their efforts that goes months and months into it. A lot of people behind the stage, it seems at Fox Sports Florida, the truck, the booth, the broadcasters. I mean, you're talking about months of work all coming together for a great cause, and it wouldn't be possible without them.
And I think another reason why this night works so well, there's such a commitment by both the Marlins and Fox Sports Florida to give back to the community.
Yeah, over the past 4 years, this auction has raised over $530,000, all of which have gone back into the community for local kids, education programs, arts, sports, you know, and be able to see that money go all back into action to make a difference locally just speaks for the Marlins and Foundation. 25 years of being pillars in this community.
All right, you've seen the big board. What
I have.
Prize pack are you going to bid on?
I mean, no bias, but I'm bidding on the Fox Sports Florida broadcaster experience. I mean, one of the prizes in there is you get to be interviewed standing right where I am by one of the best in-game reporters in baseball. So, I mean, come on, what else are you going to do? You got to bid on that one. You know, as an aspiring journalist, a broadcaster, a kid, boy, girl, to be able to go to the press box, the booth, the truck, that's a once-in-a-lifetime experience. I think someone would love to be a part of that.
I love that, Eric. No bias at all.
Not at all.
Thanks for letting me have the pleasure of interviewing you.
The pleasure's all mine.
Guys, back to you.
Jessica, Eric, thank you very much. Yeah, certainly echo those sentiments from Eric, and a thanks to all those working very hard throughout the last few months from Fox Sports Florida's end, from the Marlins end, from the Marlins Foundation end, everybody coming together for this very special night as Castro lines out for the first out here in the 5th.
Yeah, and a friendly reminder that, you know, everything that goes into tonight, all the money that's generated goes right back into the community. I mean, that's the most important thing. I mean, you and I, you know, we've been trained. We rattle off these packages, which are incredible packages. A couple of vacations on there, you know, tickets, all these different things. Just remember what not only you're getting, but where your money's going. And I think that's the important thing that needs to kind of be out there just as much.
Yeah, all proceeds from this event benefiting the Marlins Foundation and focus on the Marlins youth baseball initiatives, including Marlins RBI, Miracle League of Miami-Dade County, Special Olympics. So, yeah, lots of great packages to bid on throughout the night. And we hope that you have visited marlins.com/fantasy. We'll continue to take a look at the different items up for auction and stay involved throughout the evening. The 0-2 to Anderson. Cut on and missed.
It's easy to beat the heat when you become an energy saving expert. Go to fpl.com/beattheheat.
2 down here in the 5th for Malone, who gave up 3 runs in the 1st inning. 3 consecutive hits. Singles by Castro, Anderson, an RBI double by JT Realmuto, who digs in now, and then a sac fly from Bohr. For Cameron Maben had an RBI single, but since then zeros on the board and 2 outs here in the 5th as Malone has settled in. And Realmuto out toward right center field, a long run, and that's going to one-hop the wall. Harper will play it off the wall in the gap, and it's the 2nd double of the night for Realmuto.
Another quality swing from JT. See a fastball up and away, stays on it and drives it the other way. We showed you the pie chart where he hits the ball on the ground in the infield, but I mentioned it, he loves that right center field gap in the air. This is where he goes an awful lot. And many times this season has been rewarded. It's a double here. An RBI opportunity for the big guy. Runner on second.
In there for a called strike to Justin Bohr. Again, had a sac fly in the 1st inning. And one of 5 strikeout victims tonight for Malone.
Good take by JB. Malone over the last couple of at-bats. Now, he did strike him out in the third, pounding him in with fastballs, trying to set up his little cut fastball away.
Wieters tried to steal that one. The corner blowing away, but so Hernandez not biting on that one. Count even up 2-2. Got on and missed, and that will do it. We are through 5. Marlins in front by a run. Inning, Marlins in front 3-2 behind Dan Straley. It's time for This Day in Marlins History presented by Geico. Back to 2011, again a Marlins Nationals matchup. Greg Dobbs 3 for 5, a home run, a career high 5 ribbies. Marlins led that game throughout. They scored 5 runs in the top of the 9th inning. And the 1-2-3 that night of Emilio Bonifacio, Omar Infante, and Dobbs, a combined 7 for 13 with 6 runs scored. That is setting the table. 80 pitches through the first 5 innings for Straley. He will see the top of the Nationals lineup. Eaton, Turner, and Harper here in the 6th. Eaton walked in the first and was the final out of that first inning as he was picked off at second base. Also flew out to Maben in left in the 3rd as he takes upstairs 2 balls and no strikes.
Well, Eaton over his last 11 games just to tick above 380. 8 runs scored. Back-to-back games now, 2 walks.
Let's check in with Craig.
You know, guys, we don't like to leave out the visiting team because a lot of people watch that root for the other team around the country, really around the world too. So we have a special Nationals memorabilia package here for you tonight on our fantasy auction that you can get involved in. This includes a Bryce Harper autographed baseball, a Steven Strasburg autographed baseball, throw in a Gio Gonzalez from Hialeah autographed baseball. Then you get 2 Nats jerseys and 6 Nationals t-shirts courtesy of Fanatics. Also, you get 2 Dex Diamond Club tickets. Those are the best seats in the house to watch the Marlins take on the Nats right here in September, either the 17th or the 18th of September when the Nats and Marlins play. Bid at marlins.com/fantasy. And a reminder, if you get outbid, you'll get a text. You can then answer that, use the reference number to get your bid even higher. Right now, I think the last one we looked was over 1,000. What was it? $13.50 for the Nats package. Very nice stuff. Enjoy your Nats gear and game tickets, guys.
Craigers, can we get an update on the one that Eric was talking about an inning or so ago, the Fox Sports Florida broadcasters experience? Where is that?
Yes, that.
Flipping over to the next page, I think it might
that'll
be.
Yeah, give us 1 second. We'll get an update on that in a moment.
Just curious. We didn't talk too much about that before.
No, you're right.
I know Eric did a terrific job of that, but those are some of the details right there. Catered suite for 16.
Here it is. We're up $11.50 now from Bob Dennison.
All right, terrific.
That's the truck, the broadcasters, radio, TV, the suite for a game. Yeah. Catered for 16 people. That alone that's got to be close to a $2,000 package off the top of my head, minimum, just for that.
4 people can visit the TV trucks. That's where all of the crazies work. No, the ones that make it sing every night. I'm just kidding. Of course, Glenn Geffner, Dave Van Horn, the radio voices of the Marlins. You can visit them and us. Todd and I up here in the TV booth.
Geff alone, guys, that's $500 just to see him.
Absolutely. A couple,
minimum.
Couple of bucks for us.
Literally 2. There they are. Glenn Geffner on the left and Dave Van Horn on the right. Probably wondering, why are we on TV right now as they check their monitors?
No, they never wonder that. We've been messing with Geff lately, though.
Yes, we have.
Going back to the Tampa Bay series, right?
Oh, that was terrific. So this is the broadcast truck right here. I mean, there are more buttons than you can shake a stick at in there. Yeah. More TV screens. See that? See that? See what he does there?
I push you out.
Just get bullied around up here.
That's what I do. That's right. Well, and that's
get out of my shot, kid.
That's right. Well, listen. Anybody gets to come up here and hang out for a few innings, I can promise it's going to be fun.
Oh, goodness.
See how this works from behind the scenes.
There's our whole booth right there. Get out of my shot, man. That way.
You know these chairs are on wheels, and I'm about 50 pounds heavier than you, right?
Yeah, you are. Trey Turner strikes out for the first out here in the 6th. That's 5 for Straley tonight.
It's easy to beat the heat when you become an energy-saving expert. Go to fpl.com/beattheheat.
All right, well, here's some fun numbers we like to keep you updated on. Dan Straley, I mean, he's one of the rare birds in the game of baseball. You know, we've always talked guys first time through the lineup, second time in the lineup, third time. It's always a progression. You get that third time through and everybody's screaming, get him out of the ball game, let's go to the bullpen. But not with Dan Straley. He has been absolutely brilliant this year, the more he's pitched. I told Dan we need to get you into that 120, 130 pitch range.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be crickets for crying out loud. How about this? Third time through the lineup. All season long, he's given up 6 hits. 6 for 65, 092 batting average, third time through.
Well, that is the mark of, and Dan certainly fits this bill, one of those cerebral pitchers. You know, he is going to.
I'm watching your swing. I know what you're looking for.
Right, exactly. Just garnering all sorts of information those first 2 at bats so that he can figure out a way to get you that third time. He's at a point in his career now. We always hear it, you know, this guy is now a pitcher, not just a thrower. Side to Harper, 2 balls and 1 strike. Time for the Toyota Trend. Opponents' home runs all time at Marlins Park. 3 of them in uniform tonight. 2 of them are in the lineup as we speak. Ryan Zimmerman leading the way with 11. Harper's got 9, and we'll see Freddie Freeman in Atlanta when this 4-game series ends. Marlins head to Atlanta and Philadelphia on the road trip.
Well, Harper's ahead in the count 3-1. I'll bet you I got a 50-50 shot at getting this right. Hang in there, right? We're talking true outcomes. He's number 1 in the National League. We're talking homers, walks, and strikeouts. The 3 true outcomes that we love to talk about all the time. 112 strikeouts. But get this. 3 true outcomes for Harper in his plate appearances this year. 432 of them. 217 times. I mean, he's right at 50%. He either hits a homer, walks, or strikes out. I'm betting on But I think you know what I'm betting. He's already done it twice tonight. I'm going for it.
Okay.
Roll the dice.
Sure. Why not? 3 men on the right side of the infield for the Marlins. Here comes a 3-2 pitch. Right field line, slicing, foul. Yeah, it is an all or nothing situation, I guess we can call it. You know, it's not a problem when the ball goes 450 feet off of his bat. So it's just an all or nothing situation, we'll call it, for Harper.
Well, 4 homers, 9 RBIs his last 12 games, but no other extra base hits and 22 strikeouts. 23.
We check in with Craig.
Guys, we have a new leader here on the board. Philly Al here at 4,050 on the Hall of Fame package. How about that? That is a spectacular package. We go up to Cooperstown and you get treated like you are in the Hall of Fame. That is amazing stuff. Don't forget that our auction will close at 10 o'clock tonight, sharp. 10 o'clock the bidding will end at marlins.com/fantasy. We'll have a countdown clock. There it is coming up for you. And then we will total it all up. So an hour and 10 minutes away. So get your bids in here. Don't wait and try to be the last guy in. That's not going to work tonight. I'll tell you what, the Punta Cana getaway is at $1,000 right now. That includes 8 days, 7 nights, double occupancy, superior room, autographed baseballs, clubhouse tickets for a Marlins game on Dominican Heritage Night 2 coming up August 11th. Then you go away a little more than a week after that. So Mike Sims has got a real bargain right now for $1,000, 8 nights. That's all inclusive. Now for Paul alone, just that part.
Oh, I'm eating through house and home on that.
Not to mention the fruit juices that you might have there.
Yeah, a little guava juice while you're on vacation. It's very nice. You know, treat yourself. You work hard for it. This one popped up behind home plate, and it will reach the seats. 1-1 to Ryan Zimmerman. Did I see that still no one has bid on the Marlins shout-outs? Did I see that correctly, Craig?
Yeah, that's correct, Paul.
Well,
we do not have a.
Let's get on that.
I know somebody's got to get on that. That's as we mentioned earlier, 5 Marlins, either player or manager Don Mattingly doing a personalized shout-out for you, maybe on one of your social media platforms, and you'll get a visit from Billy the Marlin at a corporate outing or a family event. Come to the backyard, whatever. That's something that's great too. Yeah, not on the board yet.
All right, we got time. We're about halfway.
Got some time.
Halfway through the game, and we've got the bidding closes at 10. As Zimmerman has hit one off the top of the wall. It stays in the yard. It's going to bring home a run that ties the game. Boy, Zimmerman didn't miss his 12th homer at Marlins Park by much. Off the top of the wall, it will score Eaton and tie this game in the 6th.
You know, 6th double this season, 3rd in his last 2 starts. Zimmerman catches it out in front. You're absolutely right. The extension kind of carries it off the top of the wall. Hits, I think, what, green padding above the. Let's take another look.
Yeah,
hard to tell.
Right at the top of that screen, but if it's about 5 feet to the left, it's a 2-run home run. And he might have thought that that was getting out. Either way, Eaton with 2 outs, running on contact, and this game is tied at 3 as they intentionally walk Juan Soto to get to Mark Reynolds, and that might be it for Straley. As Don Mattingly takes the baseball. Straley gets through 5 2/3 tonight. The Florida Lottery call to the bullpen to bring in Brad Ziegler. We're back to even here at Marlins Park. Marlins go to the bullpen. The new Monopoly jackpot scratch-offs from the Florida Lottery are a new spin on a classic. They're loaded with prizes from $10,000 to $2 million. So unleash the excitement anytime. The Florida Lottery, it's your ticket. Must be 18 or older to play. Play responsibly. So Brad Ziegler in to try to limit the damage in this inning. The one run on the RBI double from Ryan Zimmerman has tied up the ball game. And then the intentional walk to Soto, who's on first for Mark Reynolds, who is at the plate.
Certainly a key spot. The toughest spot in this Nationals lineup. Deciding between Soto and Reynolds. I showed you the numbers both have put up against the Marlins this season. We'll bring in one of your hottest bullpen guys and certainly get it. Ziegler, righty's hitting .225 against him. Does have a history with Reynolds, 2 for 9.
Well, these are the spots where Ziegler has thrived since being taken out of the closer's role. He'll come in and be effective certainly in a clean inning, but it's situations like this where there are inherited runners on base and him trying to get out of the inning.
14 for 18. He's stranded. It's all relievers with a 74.2% ground ball rate. He's going to have to work his way back into this count.
This is outside to Reynolds, and they'll be loaded for Wieters. Career grand slams for Matt Wieters. This year, his first plate appearance with the bases loaded. He's 0 for 3 in his career against Ziegler. There's a strike. A walk to Reynolds at the open base. A guy who's certainly been swinging the bat. Wieters, a guy who, well, hasn't. Now a force anywhere with 2 outs. And a chopper to the right side, Castro, and Ziegler does it again. A run home though as the Nationals tie it in the 6th, 3-3.
Very special ladies. This is Gigi Santos right beside me and Janice Abreu right next to her. Not only did these ladies participate in the Marlins RBI program, but they also received scholarships through it. Now, first off, how did participating in Marlins RBI help prepare you for the future?
Honestly, Marlins RBI has helped me so much. It honestly didn't just make me a better softball player, but also a better citizen, a better teammate, and most of all, just a better student overall. I still have some girls reaching out to me from Marlins RBI that ask me to practice with them all the time, and it just humbles me so much, just the fact that they have this experience. It's just Marlins RBI within the 4 years I've been playing. It's something that I will remember for the rest of my life.
Janice, how much did you love playing softball through the Marlins RBI program?
It's a great opportunity to meet new people. These last 4 years I've been playing RBI, and I've met coaches that want to help with your mechanics, but as well want to help you set goals for the future, and girls that want to be there and want to help each other. And I think that's just an amazing opportunity to be together all in one and just learn the game of softball.
Gigi, what did it mean to receive a scholarship?
Oh man, I still remember the day that Sarah had called me on the phone and told me that I had won the scholarship. Like, just to think that the previous year I had thought about, wow, I wanted this so bad and I didn't get it, but the next year, as soon as I got the call, it just lifted a burden not only on me but on my parents, like on the pockets of my parents. And I was just so glad to finally get that scholarship and just think about my softball college career and just attending St. Thomas for those 3 years. And thankfully, because of them, I'm able to finish my college career in the 3 years. And if all goes good, I graduate in December.
That is awesome. These are the stories that we love to hear. And Paul, this is why Fantasy Auction Night is so important.
Absolutely. The RBI program does a terrific job in Miami, in many other cities as well. Great to hear those stories for sure. Jessica, thanks for sharing. Ladies as well, we appreciate it. As we move to the bottom of the 6th inning, another reminder to log on to marlins.com/fantasy. Bidding closes in 1 hour, folks. 10 o'clock straight up. So log on, please bid. Lots of great things, certainly for a great cause. Again, all proceeds from this event will benefit the Marlins Foundation with a focus on the Marlins Youth Baseball Initiatives. Again, Marlins RBI, Miracle League of Miami-Dade County, and the Special Olympics. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Justin Miller. To Martin Prado misses inside. Miller in after 5 innings of work from Tommy Malone, who, after the 3-run first inning, for all intents and purposes, a pretty good spot start in the absence of Steven Strasburg.
Yeah, absolutely, when you add up what happened at the beginning of the ballgame. All right, so Justin Miller into the game, 3.90 ERA, 42 strikeouts in 30 innings. That's impressive stuff, but the Marlins have had his number this season. 3 1/3 innings, 4 earned runs. That's an ERA over 10. We're seeing fastball on the slider.
That one off of Miller, who's able to get to it and throws it to first to retire Prado. Dave Martinez and training staff going out to check on him. So a Chevrolet prospect spotlight on Teheran Guerrero. A rehab assignment for him. Strained his left lumbar on the 5th of July. 3 games, 1 hit, a walk. It sounds like he will be here tomorrow. Expected to be in the building. Perhaps not activated, however. We've got Colombian Heritage Night, so he'll be here. And certainly one of those big pieces went right. Huge part of that pen.
Well, then I propose we take the minor league spotlight off him and put the major league spotlight on him.
Absolutely, let's do it. Maybe in the coming days. One more look. They've gotten him on the lower. Thought glove? I thought lower leg.
Well, watch his glove. He kind of spins around. I'm not sure how much this hit him, but we'll take another look. See if we see a little bit more here. Yeah, you're right. The glove kind of masked it from the backside. Got him on that, I believe, right calf. Well, listen, his mechanics, boy, he's like a top out there. I mean, he closes off that front side so much and kind of uncorks as he makes his way towards home. No surprise it spun him around. He's going to stay in the ball game.
So again, Guerrero hopefully will be activated. No official word, but hopefully at some point throughout this series before the team takes to the road. Other injury news and nuggets. Lewis Brinson is progressing. He's got that bone bruise in his hip that's been bothering him for a while. Garrett Cooper, no activity with that re-aggravated wrist. And Sandy Alcantara continuing his rehab assignment with Jupiter on Saturday, where he is scheduled to throw 75 pitches. So hopefully the early part of August as of now. hopefully. We'll get Alcantara back. Cameron Maben takes a strike at the top of the zone, 1-1. Bullpen coach Dean Trainer going over some scouting reports for Adam Conley. He's loosening in the bullpen. Sammy Solis on the other side for the Washington Nationals. Maben takes low, 2-1. Cam with an RBI single in that 3-run first. Ground out the fourth. Cam with a hit back in inning number 1, looking for his 5th multi-hit game since July 8th. Brinson out, Maben in. Maben in left tonight with Sierra in center field. And really, Cam's made the most of the opportunity.
I'll tell you what, he's game planning so well right now. He did the start on Tuesday in the day game, came in late, but again, a couple of quality at bats, ended up picking up a hit along the way. I mean, that kind of tells you where he's at. Sometimes when you get rolling and you're a part-time player, obviously you're in and out of games, maybe not starting every day, but the swing has been so consistent.
Out to left field, back goes Soto onto the edge of the track for out number 2. Bring in Miguel Rojas, nobody on, 2 out. Rojas 0 for 2 against Tommy Milone. Will get his first look at Miller here in the 6th. One for 3 against Miller. Popped up. Coming in from third is Reynolds. Gave it a look to see if Wieters was coming at it. Took his eye off the ball and nearly overran it, but is able to make the play. We go to the 7th.
Welcome back here to Marlins Park. 3-3, top of the 7th. We're inside an hour now to the end of our fantasy auction. Gabby Sanchez come up to talk about really one of the exciting packages. That's number 8, Dinner with the Alumni on the dime. I'm going to give the mic to Gabby, so we can go over this one. It's a beauty.
I mean, this is a great experience. Where else can you have dinner on the diamond? I don't think you can do that anywhere else but here with this dinner with the alumni on the diamond. You're going to get a 3-course gourmet meal with a beverage pairing and a dinner for 8. You're going to have me. You're going to have Charles Johnson. We're going to be able to have fun. We're going to have a good meal. Everything's going to be great. You're going to get an autographed jersey from me. You're going to get an autographed jersey from Charles Johnson. You're going to get a gift bag for all the guests with a whole bunch of other stuff that's going to be in there too. You're going to get an autographed group photo at the end of the night as well. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and I think everybody should be bidding on this one.
8 people, by the way, too, for that dinner on the diamond, right? And Do Nuffins is at 1,100 right now. We want to see that right. That's a great. Do Nuffins, by the way, is on the board twice. He also has the Getting Started package, Getting Started, which goes up and down the minor league system with jerseys and baseball bats. He's standing right over here, and he's watching very closely, right?
He's making sure that he's still on top, but I think we can raise this up a little bit more. He's got more than in the money bank right there that he's ready to go for.
All right, Gabby, we'll see you in the post-game show. Dinner on the diamond for 8, over $1,100 right now, guys.
Excellent stuff. Greg, Gabby, thanks so much. As Adam Conley takes over here in the 7th inning, 5 2/3 from Straley, a third of an inning from Ziegler to get out of the 6th inning. But we have ourselves a 3-3 game here in the 7th. 28th game this year for Conley. Facing Defoe now. Michael A. Taylor in the on-deck circle with the pitcher spot due up next. And at the top of the order for Adam Eaton. There's Michael A. Taylor on deck.
For Conley, he's had a fantastic 2018. 23 of his 27 appearances have been scoreless. Lefties hitting 190, righties 140. Oof. What a .66 ERA here at Marlins Park in 2018.
Well, he did have that rough outing against the Washington Nationals on the 8th of July when he check that on the 5th of July when he had 4 walks and 5 runs came around to score, and that's the outing that really kind of skews the numbers this year, because outside of that, I mean, there's a lot of zeros in the earned run column.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I brought it up last time he pitched. What was so interesting about that day, and maybe even leading up to it, is Conley was making the transition to a reliever. Well, we see the velocity now, obviously in 15-20 pitches most nights. Throwing 95, 96 miles an hour. That's elite velocity. But what he was pairing that with was an outstanding changeup. He didn't really use the slider, and I'm telling you, after that game, it was like he just made it, committed to it, and has really stayed with the slider, and it's been part of his arsenal ever since.
Well, the very next time that he pitched, which was 3 days later, he gave up the walks and the runs on the 5th. On the 8th, 4 strikeouts in 2 innings of work. And since then, 0 ERA with a 120 batting average against. I mean, he has been lights out since. But he issues the free pass to Defoe to start the 7th. It's time for the Toyota Inside Look. Kind of the overall season comparison of these two teams. Marlins have been playing some pretty good baseball the last 44 games. They're 4 games over 500 on the year, though, 44 and 59. Nationals also under 500. See the batting average by a couple of percentage points favoring the Marlins. 3rd and 4th place team in the National League East as Michael A. Taylor bunts this one foul. JT lets it roll.
Well, certainly you can either use the word expectations, Paul, or the word current team salary, kind of to place expectations on what those numbers are supposed to look like for one, and well, maybe not so much for the other. I certainly don't take pride in saying, well, that's the story. But point being, the Nationals are clearly a team that everybody thought, so many picked to win this, not only this division, but to make a run. A lot of people out there said this is the year. This is the year they're going to go to the World Series.
I'm going to get deep on you in just a second here. I have found some numbers today. So I'm giving you the heads up.
All right.
Okay. So I know you like the statistics, right? Have you heard of the Pythagorean theorem win-loss record?
I have.
Okay. So for those that may not know, that win-loss record takes into account your run differential and what your record with that run differential should be. Well, the Nationals are -4, which is tied for the third worst record. So they are underachieving. The Marlins are overachieving.
Right.
They are tied with the Oakland A's, +5 wins, better than expected. Everybody is looking up at the Seattle Mariners, who are +10. But the Marlins are overachieving based on their run differential, and we've seen it. There are some games there have been, heck, against the Nationals a couple of times ago, where the run differential at the end of the night, it's ugly. Right. There's no skirting that. But as we all know, it only counts for one loss.
That's right. And that is something that you and I have talked about really ad nauseum all season long. Right. Point being that this team bounces back really well after a bad loss. We call them bad losses. It's it's kind of their demeanor and their ability to take the day for what it's worth. Go out and win a baseball game and then move on to the next day. And listen, that goes in both directions, both positive and negative. Don't make too much out of it. Don't make too little out of it. But at the same time, you've got to separate out the days. And that's what this club has done all season long. How many bad losses have there been where, like, you and I will walk out of here and go, boy, that was uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And the team will bounce back the next day with a 5-1 win.
Foul off the bat of Taylor, still 1-2.
Taylor's had a tough time pinch hitting this year, only 2 for 13. Struck out 5 times. Not a big fan of it in his career either. 4 for 39. 103 batting average.
Out to right field. Anderson is back on the track, and that one's off the wall. Sierra gets it in. Defoe hung up, so he's only able to move up to second base on a single, 2/3 of the way up the right field wall.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I'm betting that Defoe went back to tag. He thought Brian Anderson was going to catch this ball. It's a bad read. Yeah, that's a dangerous play. But for Defoe, in that situation, the right read with no outs is to go halfway. You should be about 2 steps in front of second base. So a huge break here for the Marlins, as this is going to be about the longest single we're going to see this year. High off the wall. Nice job backing up there by Sierra and getting the ball back into the infield. Yeah, Defoe really thought Brian Anderson, which was again part of the sale. He went back, kept his head on the ball, and was chasing it into the wall. But again, Defoe completely committed to this being a catch, and that's just not the case. You see where it hits. Anderson, not even a glove on it. It's a very risky play.
They were just taking a look to see if there was any sort of infraction with the runners over there at first base, which there was not. As Eaton squares to bunt, pulls it back, and it's 1-0. A couple of walks and a run scored for Eaton tonight. Came around to score in the 6th. The game tying run. The RBI double from Ryan Zimmerman.
Well, Adam Conley's thrown 16 pitches this inning and doesn't have an out yet.
Sierra back toward the left center field gap. Underneath this one will make the catch. Defoe tags. Here comes the throw. Defoe gets to third. Taylor stays at first. Well, as that ball was coming in, Martin Prado was kind of pointing at second base, like watch out, but Taylor stayed put at first, even with the runner in front of him tagging.
I got to tell you, in this very interesting base running, it's not really on Defoe this time. This is more on Taylor. Again, this is an easy read. If Defoe's back to tag, again, you're reading the outfielder's eyes. I think this is a huge break for the Marlins once again. Taylor didn't even think about tagging. That throw went straight into third base. If you're the runner at first and you tag, you can waltz right into second. That's an easy one to read. I don't know why Taylor gave that up. He just kind of assumed.
Well, now what it does is keeps the double play in order.
Most definitely.
With the go-ahead run at third and 1 out. Up and into Trey Turner. With a solo home run in the 4th inning tonight. Misses low, and they count 2 balls and a strike. Outside of the home run for Turner, also a single in the 1st inning. And one of the 6 strikeouts tonight for Dan Straley. Back in the 6th. Here comes a 2-1.
He continues to struggle with his command. Certainly this is the type of lineup, when you look at it on paper and you see the swings, that really make you maybe nervous on challenging hitters.
Out to right in the corner. Anderson is back and he's up against the wall. That one's going to rattle off the wall. In comes Defoe. Michael A. Taylor behind him. To third goes Turner. 2 runs come in to score here in the 7th. Third triple of the year for Turner, who now is a double shy of the cycle.
Yeah, and again, the approach, head down, going the other way. It's pretty amazing to me, as much as Turner had been struggling coming into this series, how he's found his swing already. 3 more hits tonight. 2 balls off the right field wall by right-handed hitters. Single by Taylor. Triple by Turner. The approach against Conley, staying inside that baseball and looking to go the other way from the Nationals. Come into 2 runs.
Javi Guerra now up with Bryce Harper at the dish. Infield in for the Marlins.
Harper's already had 3 4K games this season, 3 tonight.
Inside. Almost got Bryce Harper's hands. Above the league average, getting that run in from third with less than 2 outs. Chopped. Fair. Down the right field line. That'll bring home another as Harper is into second with an RBI. Justin Bohr was right on top of that one. He can't seem to believe that that ball was fair.
He's appealing to anybody that will listen to him right now. Don Mattingly out as well. Let's take another look. I got to admit, Bryce Harper was a bit surprised himself. Didn't really run initially. Still made it into second.
Well, because it bounced before the bag, as it did in the dirt in front of home plate, it's where it goes over the base right there, whether or not it's fair or foul. So on that particular angle, tough to tell, but no overturning it. Florida Lottery call to the bullpen. In comes Javi Guerra in the 6-3 game. Adam Conley out, Javi Guerra in, along with JT Riddle, part of a double switch. So Javi Guerra will face Ryan Zimmerman, as the Nationals have scored 3 runs in this inning, 6 unanswered runs since a 3-0 Marlins bottom of the first. 6th game for Guerra. Opponent's hitting just $1.25 against him.
He had himself in a little bit of trouble with the walks. He's got 3 walks in his last 3 appearances. He's got a variety of roles out of the bullpen. He's gone multiple innings. He's also gone short a couple of appearances. 1/3 of an inning last time out.
Look out. That was a heck of an effort behind the dugout. That ball hit the netting and then kind of ricocheted into the seats. And somebody down there in like the 4th or 5th row made a lunging grab, leaning back into those seats, which don't have much give to them. Made the play. Sign him up. And he signed to Zimmerman. A little more than a half hour to continue to bid. Fantasy auction winding down. 32 minutes and 15 seconds. Check in with Craig momentarily. Upstairs to Zimmerman. 13th annual Fox Sports Florida Fantasy Auction, powered by South Florida Ford.
Hey, that clock makes me nervous. A countdown timer on it.
Really?
Like, what happens when that runs out?
I don't know. Something. Craig must do something. Craig starts to dance or something. I don't know what happens. This one chopped to Riddle just in the game, able to make the play on Zimmerman. And moving up to third is Harper. It's time for T-Mobile's Built for Baseball. We get a check on Juan Soto. continuing to add to his case for National League Rookie of the Year, along with Marlins' Brian Anderson. Able to trot around the bases in the 4th, and he trots to first on an intentional walk here in the 7th.
I'll tell you what, Soto's had an impressive run to start his young career. In May, he had an on-base percentage of .419. How about June? .440, and in July, above .375. Now on base 3 times tonight.
Marlins have 3 on the left side of the infield for Mark Reynolds, who takes a ball just off the corner. 1-0 to Reynolds, who has a walk and a base hit in this ballgame. One from Guerra is fouled back and into the second deck. Ball and 2 strikes. First of a 4-game set tomorrow is 7:10 first pitch. Pablo Lopez goes for Miami. Max Scherzer for the Washington Nationals. Saturday, another 7:10 first pitch. Trevor Richards against Hialeah native Gio Gonzalez, and then all wraps up this 4-game set Sunday afternoon, 1:10, Jose Urena and Jeremy Hellickson. Pablo, who did a terrific job in between starts. Sure, he probably threw some bullpens or whatever they do, but the promo reads that he did during the week, my goodness, fantastic. This one gets away from Real Muto. No advance from third for Harper, but Soto goes to second.
JT, nice job. That's not necessarily keeping the ball in front, but getting out of his crouch as quickly as he did. Pretty good look at his athleticism. Now watch again. It does everything right here to keep it in front. Now it's going to kick off his chest protector and almost get all the way to the Marlins dugout. How fast he was on it. You know what that was right there? Goalie? That was his pop-up time.
Oh, pop-up time, nice. That's good. As opposed to your run-of-the-mill pop time.
There's nobody to throw out right now.
I wonder if his pop-up time is among the league leaders.
I'm sure it is. Harper didn't go.
Solid point by you. Three runs home for the Nats in this 7th inning. Tied it in the 6th. Now taking a 3-run lead in the 7th. And they'll get a check, but no swing, says the first base umpire Chris Siegel. So a walk for Reynolds, and the bases are loaded with 2 outs. Close from that vantage point. Harper, Soto, Reynolds, your runners 3rd to 1st.
It's the 2nd time in 2 innings that the Marlins have intentionally walked Soto, only to watch Reynolds walk right after him.
Well, walks were the issue in Washington, D.C. for that entire 4-game series, and tonight there have been, what do you got, 6 walks?
26 in that series.
Yeah.
In D.C., that 4-game series.
Tonight, 7 walks.
My goodness, yeah. Well, that's going to have to stop. It always turns into a problem.
6 in the last 2 innings.
2 of them have scored.
But Guerra in front, 0-2 to Wieters. Here's the pitch. Maybe getting out of it with the ground ball to second base. He avoids further damage. Nationals leave the bases loaded in the 7th, but they have a 6-3 lead. We'll check in with Craig after the break.
Continues. We've got an add-on to the Punta Cana getaway right now at $13.50, and this is this bat modeled here by the outstanding right-handed hitting, although she's using a left-handed swing here. Diana, take that swing again and hold it. This is a Magneris Sierra autographed bat. He's from the Dominican Republic. We're going to add that into that package that will take you to the beautiful area of Punta Cana. That's 8 days and 7 nights. August the 19th to the 26th, an all-inclusive 8-day, 7-night package. Right now, it's just over $1,300, so you can get in. And don't forget, we're winding down here. We only have 25 minutes left in the auction, and it'll be ending at a sharp 10 o'clock. Marlins.com/fantasy. A couple other notes here. Ultimate Entertainment up to over $3,000, and the Nats memorabilia $1,350. We do have a bidder on the shout-outs. It's over $800 now, guys. How about the golf at $1,700? And Hall of Fame $4,200. Road trip with the Marlins, that's the trip to Fenway Park, is nearing $4,000.
Terrific stuff, Craig. Thank you very much. Yeah, things are winding down here. Last, 23, 24 minutes to go to bid on many of these terrific fantasy auction items. Again, the 13th annual Fox Sports Florida Fantasy Auction powered by South Florida Ford. Michael A. Taylor takes over in center field, which moves Bryce Harper over to right with a new pitcher, Brandon Kinsler, who will face Magneris Sierra to lead things off here in the 7th. Tries to bunt, may have gotten a piece of it, may have also gotten a piece of Wieters. As we get a look at Kinsler, 44th game this year, of course, with the trade deadline looming. Kinsler was brought over last year along with Ryan Madsen and Sean Doolittle to fortify the Nationals bullpen. This year pitching to a 3.76 ERA.
Sinker slider change. That sinker was about 78% of the time sits in that 93-mile-an-hour range. So has a slider and change. He doesn't throw them too often. I'll tell you what, Marlins came out like gangbusters in the first. 3 consecutive hits by Castro, Anderson, and Real Muto. Got things going. Marlins would score 3 in the first inning. There's been crickets ever since. A couple more hits in the second, but no runs. Really have not been able to get anything going.
And a called strike 3 to start the 7th.
Kinsler uses the 2-seam fastball off that inside corner and back to it against Sierra. Strikeout. Start the 7th.
First at bat of the night for JT Riddle. Came in as part of a double switch. Cut on and missed, 0-1. Little 0 for 1 on the homestand. His second plate appearance here. Just a 2-game series against the Atlanta Braves. Out to center field. Back a few steps is Taylor. Floor out number 2. It's time for the Coors Light refreshing finish. And certainly a special night for the Marlins, for Fox Sports Florida, for the Marlins Foundation. We thank everybody who has participated to this point. Still 20 or so minutes to do so, to log on to marlins.com/fantasy. Somewhere in the neighborhood of about 20 different packages to bid on. So you got 20 minutes to do that. Here's Starlin Castro, 0-1. Castro with a single in the first, came around to score in that 3-run first inning for the Marlins. Had a double in the second inning. His 34th multi-hit game. He's tied with Brian Anderson. Tops on the club coming into this ball game. He has now surpassed BA, who also has a hit. So Anderson can still even things up with Castro. Here's the 0-2 pitch. One-two from Kinsler. Cut on and missed. And it's a 1-2-3-7. 6-3.
Auction night continues on. Hey, if you want to hear about an awesome success story with the Marlins RBI program, then let me tell you about Ronnie Williams, who is standing right beside me. He participated in the RBI program from 2009 to 2014, and then was taken as the 68th overall pick in the 2014 Major League Baseball draft by the St. Louis Cardinals. Ronnie, that is so awesome. How did participating in the Marlins RBI program help prepare you for the Major League Baseball draft?
Well, they gave me a lot of opportunities to get seen by other scouts, and I traveled a lot of places where scouts, I got introduced to a bunch of different scouts around the world, the country, and I guess a couple saw me and liked me, so it went pretty well.
That's awesome. Do you have a favorite RBI program moment or memory?
Yeah, I have two actually. I got invited to the Tournament of the Stars to try out for the USA team. I didn't make it, but it was a great opportunity. I met a great host family. It was a good experience. And the Breakthrough Series, where I went to Houston and played in Minute Maid Park and pitched on MLB Network. That was pretty awesome also.
That is really cool. So you are one of the success stories of the RBI program. Why would you encourage people to participate in this auction, knowing that some of the money does go towards that program?
Well, I think it's a great opportunity for inner city kids to interact and stay out of the streets. And the game, like travel ball and the tournaments, are so expensive. RBI is free, so I think people should help out as much as possible to give the kids in the inner city something to do. There's not many African Americans playing anymore, and it'll be nice to get a lot more playing. So that's my decision on that.
Yeah, that's a good way to say it. So the Marlins RBI program, such an awesome cause that the Marlins are involved with. Get those bids in. The clock is winding down. Paul, over to you.
Thank you so much. At 9:43 right now, so we're a little over 15 minutes to go here to bid. Again, all proceeds from this event benefiting the Marlins Foundation, with the focus on Marlins youth baseball initiatives like the Marlins RBI program, which we just heard so much about. Miracle League of Miami-Dade County, Special Olympics as well. Always a fun night. My first time doing this. Happy and honored to keep the tradition going here with the Marlins. Ball and 2 strikes to Wilmer Defoe. Michael A. Taylor, and the pitcher's spot due up here in the 8th inning. Javi Guerra, who got the last 2 outs of the 7th inning, back out for the 8th. Defoe fouls another one back. Defoe walked and scored in the 7th, a 3-run frame for the Nationals. To left, Maven toward the line to make the catch as we check in with Craig.
Thank you very much, Paul. Yes, we got about 15 minutes to go on our countdown. We're going to go over 2 of the packages that you are bidding on. One of them is Foodie's Delight. This is an outstanding opportunity, dining experience at 3 amazing restaurants to begin with. Toro, Smith & Walensky, Stubborn Seed, that's for 2. Then you get a private home party for 6 by the executive chef over at Wawa's and Glam, Todd Erickson. He'll come over there and put a dinner together that you will not believe. Also 4 tickets to the South Beach Seafood Festival on October 20th. So that's an amazing package. Visit again marlins.com/fantasy. Right now that's at $13.50. And how about that ultimate entertainment package? That's the 4 Diamond Club tickets to a Marlins game. Right now it's just over $3,000. How about this? 2 lower level tickets. You get a Heat game during the upcoming 18-19 season. Club Lexus tickets. If you've been to a Panther game or at the BBT for a concert, you know how great those is with all the food. And 2 parking passes to a game coming up this season. Also 2 club level tickets to a Dolphin game against the Raiders on September 23rd. That's coming up this season. And a lot of people talking about Real Madrid and Man U at Hard Rock. That's coming up next week, July the 31st, and that will be 2 sweet tickets for that, plus Club Lexus tickets to Monster Jam at BB&T. It's only at $1,300 and change, and you've got 13 minutes to get in on those or any of these exciting auction packages.
Craig, thanks so much for the updates. This one right back behind home plate, Michael A. Taylor. Still 2 balls and 2 strikes. Taylor singled and scored back in the 7th. Chopped left side, backhanded by Riddle. Strong throw to get Taylor. It's a heck of a play by Riddle at shortstop.
Yeah, it really is. And guess what? It's going to be our bonefish fresh catch of the day, and it should be. I tell you, you factor in Taylor's speed out of the box, the top guys in the game, you can certainly get down that line. GT had to be quick, everything had to be perfect, and it was. Strong throw across the diamond, good accuracy.
Here's Daniel Murphy. Offers at the first one, and fair ball down the left field line. Murphy towards second. Here's the throw. In there safely. Got away from Castro. Well, Murphy's been working his way back from an injury, so and been playing a lot, might I add. So that's part of the reason why he didn't get the start, but may as well have. Kind of roll out of bed, dumps one down the left field line.
1 pitch, and now 3 for 7 as a pinch hitter this season, no doubt. Stayed inside that baseball. Picked up a double. Pretty good pinch hitter throughout his career.
Out comes Don Mattingly from the Marlins bullpen. We'll see Eliezer Hernandez, the Florida Lottery, call to the bullpen here at Marlins Park. Annual Fox Sports Florida Fantasy Auction powered by South Florida Ford. Time winding down. Hurry up. Get on marlins.com/fantasy and place your bids. Eliezer Hernandez takes over. Murphy on at second. His 18th game this year. He'll face Trey Turner. Turner right now, who is a double shy of the cycle. A single in the first, a homer in the fourth, and a triple that drove in 2 runs in the 7th.
Well, speaking of cycles, he's the last to do it for the Nats. April 25th of 2017 versus the Rockies in Colorado.
To Prado at third, spins and throws, 1 pitch, and Hernandez gets out of the 8th. 6-3, Marlins trail. '13th annual Fox Sports Florida Fantasy Auction powered by South Florida Ford. Time winding down, about 7 minutes to go, inside of 7 minutes to go. Lots of great packages have been up for bid today and tonight. And we certainly appreciate all of those, you out there that have been participating throughout the night. Big thanks to the Marlins, Fox Sports Florida, certainly the Marlins Foundation, And then there's the golf package, right? So that's the one you
get on the golf package. Let's go. We got like 5 minutes left.
Cranking
I need to see
out.
that number go up just a bit.
What do you
I'd
got
love
in that
to.
package?
Listen, there's a top golf experience. It's absolutely worth every nickel in your pocket. That's right. Make a bid. Make a strong bid. The VIP experience, I've continued to talk about it. There's 2 great golf outings. One's going to include me, get to hang with me at Crandon Key Biscayne, as well as a foursome at Deering Bay Yacht and Country Club. Now, the VIP experience that I continue to rave about is a really cool one. If you're a golf fan, you get to go to the Honda Classic and follow a couple of tour players around for 18 holes. What a cool deal. And like I said, I mean, this is one of the bigger events. Last 3 winners, Justin Thomas, Ricky Fowler, and Adam Scott, and you might be able to hang with them. I can't promise that, but you will be hanging with somebody. So there you go. It's an all-inclusive deal. You've got the top golf experience. Also includes hanging with a couple of Marlins players for a couple hours, and doing that, it's an awful lot of fun. So top golf's on it, VIP experience at the Honda, golf with me, and another round of golf at Deering Bay Yacht and Country Club.
He called strike 3 for the first out here in the 8th from Ryan Madsen. Once again, we check in with Craig.
Thank you, Paul. We're down to the last, 5 minutes or so. Here's a look at the fantasy auction board as we change the numbers up. And we're over $2,000 and a lot of packages at a minimum. That Live Wild is kind of cool. Do Nothing's at over $2,000. Zoo Miami, a lot of great area entertainment options. Foodie's Delight at $1,350. The 25th anniversary memorabilia, $3,300 plus. Hall of Fame, $4,200. Golf with the Marlins, not bad, guys, $1,700. And Dinner on the Alumni, look at Do Nothing's over here, is at $1,900. Also, he is the leader with the just getting started. If he gets this, he was just telling me this will be the 4th straight year that he will get the package of minor league memorabilia. I shouldn't be pointing, because that's what the great Valentina and Diana do. Player for a day at $2,900. Again, a few more minutes to go here at the marlins.com/fantasy.
4 minutes to go. Now, all the, I believe, the results, stay tuned for the post-game show. We're going to have all sorts of different results for who takes home the packages.
4 minutes, golf, get it in, let's go. It's a privilege I get. I've got a live mic, and I will use it.
That's right. I will say, can I help sell that package?
Sure.
I get to hang out with you for what, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours a day?
Every day.
Every day. Plane rides.
Right.
Buses. Sometimes I annoy you and sit next to you on the buses.
You keep coming back.
I know. That's how cool it is to hang out with you, okay?
Oh, come on, man.
That's what I'm getting at.
Well, it'll be a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun up here. Be a lot of fun to hang out in the broadcast booth. I like to promote that one too. I can promise you hang with us for an inning or two, you'll at least walk out of here with some laughs.
Right.
That's right. Honestly, there's a whole nother show in between, like during commercial breaks, that if people were privy to.
If you win that package, you will get to see the phenomenon that is snack time.
It's true.
Every 3 innings or so, there's an announcement that is bellowed from the booth. Everybody know what time it is?
I make a declaration.
And 4 people yell snack time.
That's right.
And then boom, here comes a granola bar.
Well, I think
boom,
people are
there's a banana.
Well, people are usually curious with what I bring. I bring about 5 things a game, but they change. Sometimes I get into the kids' fruit snacks, and I bring those as well. Usually it's chocolate bars and granola. And
you bat about 850 on healthy stuff. I will say that.
It's true. At the same time,
the other 150, some junk stuff,
little loose,
sugary,
right? I gave everybody chocolate bars tonight, right?
Yeah,
everybody got
did,
one. Everybody's happy.
Yes,
Yeah, the smiles. We needed it. We needed the ice cold chocolate bar. They were in the refrigerator.
Yeah, no stuffing in here today. Slowly chopped toward short, barehanded by Turner, who throws this one away. Real Muto will stay put at first and reach with 1 out in the 8th.
Two-seam fastball sinking down just a bit. JT hits right over the top of it, but once again we get to see his wheels. Boy, oh boy, can he get down the line. He beats that out, I think, under all circumstances, and if that's not a hit, I'd be shocked. It's going to be Turner, bare hands. That's the only play he's got. JT was already past first base.
About 90 seconds left to log on to marlins.com/fantasy. All proceeds benefiting the Marlins Foundation. Focus on Marlins youth baseball initiatives. And that one gets by Zimmerman, but right to Defoe. Zimmerman pivots and goes to first base to retire Bohr. 2 outs in the 8th. Up to second goes Real Muto. I feel like there should be like a ball dropping, like it's New Year's Eve.
I told you that timer. I told you it was going to eventually get to you. You kind of shunned me a little bit when I asked you about the countdown timer at the 30-minute mark. You looked at me like, what are you talking about, you goof?
Just wasn't sure what to expect, but now I get it.
You start to see that thing count down. We all expect something when the timer runs out, right?
Adrenaline starts to percolate inside of a minute.
Everybody gets a little nervous. There's 40 seconds left.
See, Craig keeps his cool out there.
You know how many people are so close to winning right now because there's everybody else is like, all right, I can up it by $50 and get in.
Yeah.
Do it. You've got 20 seconds. $50 more, it's yours. $50 more.
20 seconds left. That Marlins shout-out's up over $1,000 now. That was one of the last ones to receive a bid, and that's jumped quite a bit.
Gonna duck.
Turn the clock off. There it is, 10 o'clock, folks. Thank you so much for everyone that placed their bids, that participated in the 13th annual Fox Sports Florida Fantasy Auction, powered by South Florida Ford. We will get some official numbers coming up. They are unofficial right now, kind of like a horse race. You know, it's an unofficial winner. So we'll tally it all up, but again, we appreciate all the help from everyone who gave towards this event. Certainly Fox Sports Florida, the Marlins, who were very accommodating, the Marlins Foundation, all the folks involved with that. And I think it's fair to say, no matter if you won or lost your own, whatever you bid on, certainly another year that this was a success. So thanks again. 0-2 to Prado, misses a little low, a ball and 2 strikes. Trying to extend this inning. Cameron Maben on deck. Tying run waiting in the wings in a 6-3 game here in the bottom of the 8th. Madsen misses low, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Cut on and missed to end the 8th. Nationals and Marlins move to the 9th inning. Once again, thanks so much for participating in the fantasy auction. Back in a moment.
Ball on Fox Sports Florida is brought to you by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By La Lechonera, the original mojo since 1970. And by your South Florida Honda dealers. Let's check in with Craig Minervini.
Thank you, Paul. We're still finalizing the totals here. They'll do that. We'll have them on the board here. But this is how it looks, at least down to the stretch, on our fantasy auction tonight. The Punta Cana trip did get over $2,000. The road trip with the Marlins up to $4,550 at last look. Also Hall of Fame over $4,200. Do Nothings had a good night. He got the dinner with alumni on the diamond for $2,000 on the first board, and he also got the Just Getting Started package, which we showed you earlier with the minor league, either hats or baseball sign and what have you. That went for $1,100. $2,900 for a player for a day. We'll have all the totals coming up officially in a little bit, but a good night so far.
Craig, thank you so much. And I've said it once, twice, or 1,000 times. I'll say it again. Anyone who participated in this from any different angle, we certainly appreciate it. As Bryce Harper cuts and misses, an offering from Ben Mayer. On to work the 9th inning. Now we still have these as well, the fantasy auction bundles. So, you know, maybe you don't want to throw $2,000 on something. That's all well and good, but just for $100, 2 ticket vouchers, autographed Marlins baseball, a hat, sleeve, an MLB Network tote bag, marlins.com/fantasy. Get yourself one of those for just $100, and further details online. Again, marlins.com/fantasy. Blowing into Harper, who works the walk to begin the 9th inning. They are the 6th Marlins pitcher of the night. Eliezer Hernandez with the heroic effort tonight. 1 pitch, 1 out to end the 8th inning. But it started with Dan Straley, 5 2/3. 3 earned runs. He walked 3 and struck out 6. As Ryan Zimmerman fouls it right back. Nationals have been a hard team to put away here at Marlins Park. They have won 6 in a row here in South Florida. Zimmerman out to center field. This is Sierra for the first out. Two guys who've had some success in the home run derby to varying degrees. Bryce Harper and Justin Bour over there at first base. As Juan Soto, speaking of home runs, has one tonight, his 12th of the season. Couple of intentional walks for Soto tonight as well. Officially 1 for 2. One and 1.
Not much is made about Soto. He's been a pretty impressive rookie this season. I know when we get to the end of the year, we'll be talking about Anderson, players like Soto when it comes to the rookie of the year. You know, not too many holes in this young man's game. I'll tell you what. One of the numbers that stood out to me, I know this isn't the situation, but thinking on it, he absolutely owns lefties. He's hit .385 against lefties this year with a .467 on base percentage. How about that as an introduction to Major League Baseball? How many lefty on lefty matchups he's running into?
Well, that's what's impressive about this young man. At the plate, he doesn't look like a 19-year-old. He doesn't act like a 19-year-old.
Well, you're absolutely right. I mean, how many 19-year-olds choke up an inch with 2 strikes? And like Brian Anderson does as well.
Well, of those 3, Anderson and Soto, Acuna Jr. are kind of the 3 lead dogs in the NL Rookie of the Year vote. 2 of them have home runs tonight, as Acuna Jr. has gone deep. As the Dodgers and Braves play, that game is currently in the bottom of the 8th inning. Also in that game, Manny Machado hit his first home run with the Dodgers. Left field line, Maybin will run out of real estate.
Well, it seems to me, although I haven't been keeping both eyes on that story, at least one though, that Machado's kind of backing it up. I always wonder, I mean, it's, you know, a player of his magnitude, impact, ability at the major league level, obviously he is who he is. And then you make the trade for him. You know, there's no guarantee in return, if you know what I mean.
Right.
And he is so far so good with the Dodgers. Number of hits, and I've seen a couple of highlights as well on defense. Home run tonight.
Through the left side, a base hit. Harper around second toward third, and he'll make it in there safely. Soto to second. The Nationals looking for more insurance here in the 9th.
Now this is a form of good base running by the Nationals. Soto just puts bat on ball and pokes it through the left side. You can see the shift. All right, so Prado's on his way. As soon as Harper sees that, he realizes nobody's covering third base, so he makes his way to third. He's really cranking it down as he comes around second base. In fact, there is at third base trying to receive the throw. That throw comes in. Guess who moves up to second base? Soto. Takes the double play out of order.
So it's officially a single for Soto and an intentional walk for Mark Reynolds to load him up. WB Mason has the Marlins Live postgame show. Jessica Blaylock, Gabby Sanchez from the field will recap what was another terrific night, the fantasy auction, and we'll hear from Don Mattingly as well. It's coming up at the conclusion of this one. Bases loaded, 1 out. Here's Matt Wieters. Takes a called strike. Between Soto and Reynolds, they have been walked 5 times, 2 of them intentional. Check that, 3 of them, because Reynolds was just an intentional walk.
Now, when it's set up as an interesting situation, this is the 3rd straight plate appearance for Wieters with the bases loaded. He's not capitalized yet. The Marlins would like to keep it there. Any chance? Got to keep this at 6-3. Big spot. Wieters is grounded out to second base 3 times tonight.
This one toward right center field. That one is going to get down. Harper will score easily. Soto in to score. Reynolds being waved around. Here is the throw. And Real Muto applies the tag on Reynolds. But the Nationals add 2 more. The base hit from Wieters. It is now 8-3.
You see JT just gets enough. Actually gets him up by the helmet. Well, try again. Wieters finally comes through.
Wilmer Defoe takes a look at a called strike to even things up 1-1. number of trades today, too, that I saw. Martin Maldonado going to the Houston Astros. Jay Happ going to the New York Yankees a couple of days after they acquired Zach Britton from the Baltimore Orioles. Joaquin Soria on the move as well to the Milwaukee Brewers. Trade deadline's not today, right?
It's not today.
No,
well,
we still got a week.
Who doesn't enjoy the punch-counter punch between the Red Sox and Yankees right now atop the American League East? I mean, I think this is so enjoyable to watch. It's like, well, we're going to get a starter. Well, we better get a starter too. You know, Evaldi ends up with Boston. Well, then Happ ends up going to the Yankees. What's next?
Oh, by the way, I meant to tell you, I will not be here over the weekend. I'm actually starting a game for the Tampa Bay Rays this weekend.
Is that right?
Yes. Yes. 4 hours, 17 minutes. 4 days, rather, 17 hours until the trade deadline. Yeah, and Matt Andriese also out of that rotation.
Really?
With the Tampa Bay Rays. Even though he made some starts, came out of the bullpen, kind of one of their long guys, if you will. But Andriese going to the Diamondbacks. So now, in terms of the Rays, who we've seen a couple of times the last few weeks, I think Archer is their only official starter in a traditional sense. And who knows how long he'll be there. Into Defoe, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. You and I both saw a number of local articles that kind of had him as the #1 target to be traded.
Coming off a 13 strikeout performance. Defoe hit well, and even with the speed of Sierra, unable to catch up with this one. Now we'll see the speed of Defoe on his way to third. And another run comes in, 9-3 Nationals.
Well, Wieters and Defoe kind of picking on the same spot of the field. Both overshifted to the left center field for Sierra, left center field gap. This ball is almost straight away center. Nobody there. This has turned into a 9-3 game. Outside of that first inning, it has been all Nationals tonight.
5th triple of the year for Defoe. Got on and missed by Taylor. 0-1. Third trip to the plate tonight for Taylor. Got his first AB back in the 7th inning. Singled and scored then, grounded out in the 8th. Is fouled back by Taylor.
Well, the Washington Nationals 8 extra base hits tonight. They have really poured it on offensively.
Sean Kelly up in their bullpen.
The Marlins were up 3-2 after 5. Nats have scored 7 runs in the last 4 innings of this one.
They have scored 8 runs. As Taylor goes down the left field line into the corner, another extra base hit for the Nationals as Taylor makes it 10-3.
That's why you're my partner. You're always picking me up right there in those key spots.
You got it, pal. That's what I'm here for.
Back-to-back-to-back doubles. The Nationals. Now, if they needed a wake-up party, they got it.
We came on the air earlier. We were talking about the report that has been floating around about the Nationals and what they're going to do as Matt Adams will bat off the bench, and be hit by a pitch. You know, they were going to make a decision as to whether or not they were buyers or sellers with the deadline next week, depending on what happened this weekend. Oh, tonight is any indication, they would be a buyer. Check back in 24 hours from now, and it could ebb and flow quite a bit with the Nationals.
Well, the Nationals have now batted around in the ninth. Did so in the 7th as well. Trey Turner still a double away. He's going to get another crack at the cycle. So didn't see that happening when the ninth started. There you go. Last cycle, April 25th, 2017. Was in Colorado.
And it was him. There's a strike, 0-2.
But you find it interesting sometimes. We always talk about trends. You always find, you mentioned to me, like when I speak about streaks or ballparks that kind of like, you know, I always hit well. It didn't matter who was throwing. It was like, that's kind of my park. I hit well there. Like Turner, in between seeing him, there were like 15 games played. He had like 8 hits.
Yeah.
And we see him again tonight, 3 more.
He goes a short way to second with 3 more runs in for the Nationals. Sean Kelly coming in for the bottom of the ninth.
Appreciation for all military by sharing a photo or video with hashtag #HatsOffForHeroes. For each post, T-Mobile will donate $1 to support veterans.
Welcome back to Marlins Park. Marlins had a 3-0 lead after the first inning. It's been all Nationals since then. As Sean Kelly comes in, the 5th pitcher of the night for the Nationals. They got 5 innings from Tommy Malone, who got the spot start. Thought it was going to be Steven Strasburg, placed on the DL this morning with a pinched nerve. So 5 innings from Malone, an inning from Miller, Kinsler, and Madsen, and now Kelly in the ninth.
Well, for Kelly, 4-seam fastball and a slider. He's been on quite a roll lately. He's tossed scoreless relief in 11 of his last 12 outings.
They've been out to left, and that's going to fall in for a base hit. Well, another multi-hit effort for Cameron Maben, his 5th since July 8th.
Off the end of the bat just a bit. Spacious Marlins Park lends itself to 2 of these pop-ups that fall in. Good to see Maben continue to roll. A couple of hits tonight. And a long line out as well.
Derek Dietrich to pinch hit over the dugout behind the on-deck circle, rather, and it is 0-1 to Dietrich.
Dietrich 3 for 14 this 2018 season. It's .214 batting average in pinch hit situations. Good pinch hitter throughout his career. 257. He's got 18 pinch hits.
Line caught and on the bag. Zimmerman makes the play to double up Maven, and there are 2 outs.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate set of circumstances there. This little humpback liner kind of led Zimmerman right to the bag. Maven had a healthy lead because he wasn't being held on. And one of those kinds of nights.
There's a strike to Magnioris Sierra. Nothing in 2 from Kelly. Swung on and missed, and the Nationals take the opener by a final count of 10-3. Well, what was a disappointing night on the scoreboard for the Marlins, certainly a positive night in terms of the 13th annual Fox Sports Florida Fantasy Auction powered by South Florida Ford. Certainly not the outcome in terms of the game that the Marlins would have liked, but once again, we thank all of those that participated from all the different angles in the fantasy auction. Always a special night here with the Marlins, for the Marlins Foundation, for Fox Sports Florida, but it is the Nationals that take the first of this 4-game series. Marlins Live post-game show is coming up after the break. For Todd Hollinsworth and our entire crew, stick around.